Coming at you from the frozen tundra that is East Central Alberta, Canada, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Float, Odyssey, Telegram, Twitch, and the Prepper Broadcast Network. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. I am Toolman Tim, and today is October, I lost the date, one of those, the 15th, 2022, and this is episode 184 of the Workshop Podcast. And tonight, I have a special guest with me. Mrs Toolman is in the house. We are going to do an extra special Halloween episode. There we are. We got Chris Dixon in the house so far. Good to see you, my friend. Real quick, we'll get the announcements out of the way, and we will talk about the rules for tonight's show. First off, Patch of the Month. Once again, if you are looking for a way to support the workshop, you're looking for a value exchange, the easiest way is to go to patchofthemonth.co. Go there. $10 a month, $100 a year, you get a patch just like this one right here. That was the very first one that went out. The second one is in the mail. Most people will have got them already. So, like I said, sign up, support the workshop, and we're all good. Number 2, the Telegram group. If you're looking for a place to interact in the workshop community, the easiest way to do that is to go by and join the Telegram group. And if you say, but Tim, I'm tired, I don't need another social media app. Well, you're probably right. I didn't either. But Amy Dingman wouldn't shut up about Telegram, so eventually I had to start my own Telegram group, and it has become an incredible place for all of us to hang out, chat, and share information. So if you're looking for a place to chat and share and ask questions and share your knowledge, come by and join the Telegram group. Link is in the description below. And number 3, even though I just came back from down south, I'm going to be heading to the Dallas area in the middle of November. So if anybody's in that area and you want to do a meetup, let me know. I'm going to be at Jack, the Survival Podcast's fall workshop. Looking forward to that. Going to be talking about different homesteading projects that you can do with very little knowledge or skill behind it. Just going to talk about things that you can put together yourself and make work. So with that, how are you, babe?
Good.
Good. Mr. Dixon says hello. So
hi, Chris.
Haven't seen him in a little while. We're pretty excited about this one. This is a stretch even for us. This is going to be a great episode. We're going to talk about movies because it's Halloween. There's a ton of different things we could have done for Halloween, but our passion lies in movies, doesn't it?
Yes.
We love to chat about films. So what we have done is we have made a top 20 list. White North Forge, that's also Chris. Thanks. 5x5 on Twitch. So what we have done is we have separately put together a top 20 list. And what we are going to do is this evening, we are going to share 20 through 11 of each of our lists. We're going to go through and we're going to tell each other why we're wrong and why I'm right. And yeah, right. Here we come. Slap. Yeah, we're going to share them. We're going to comment on them as we go. If there's overlap in that list, in the 10 we're doing tonight, I'll just mention which spot mine is, or she'll mention what spot her is. We'll talk about them. If you guys have any questions, pop in and let me know. Aaron over on Telegram, good to see you. She said, Becky's on. Darn bedtime. We'll have to catch it afterwards. That's okay. We're here. Hey, Mike from Snail Creek Homestead. I saw you in passing at Self-Reliance Festival. I love to apologize because I didn't have enough time to see everybody, but that's just how these events go. We all know that, but that's okay. So, and this one will be right up Aaron's alley. I can't wait to hear what her list is. But if you guys want to, if you feel like putting together a top 20 list or a top 5, send it my way, and I'd love to hear. Chris got his in already. He said 2 of his favorites are Amityville and The Exorcist. So like I said, we're going to go through. We don't know what each other's list is. We're going to do our bottom 10 of the top 20 tonight. We're going to discuss them, and next Saturday, we're going to do our top 10 of our top 20. It's going to be a lot of fun. So without further ado, Mrs. Cook, we got 10 people on here already. How is everybody? This is great. All right. So would you like to share your...
Well, I will.
Do you have a couple of... You went over, right?
I was going to add the reason why I'm so passionate about the horror movies is I think from when I was about 6 years old, is when I first saw my favorite horror movie, which was Amityville. My parents never told me I couldn't watch anything, so it just became like this weird obsession. And then we start reading books, and then when I first met Tim, that was kind of like a make or break. I'm like, I'm gonna let you know, I watch a lot of weird horror movies.
Absolutely, and we hit it off on that, right?
So. Right, yeah, and so So it's been like a passion of mine, and all the kids.
Oh yeah,
the kids, yeah.
even the 12-year-olds.
Even 12. Well, the older kids were watching like Pet Sematary and Child's Play when they were like 8. So like we don't have a problem with the kids watching horror as long as they know that it's not real.
Yeah,
of course.
And they chat with us about it if there's something they don't know about.
All right, so
one more quick mention, just so you guys know, if you wonder how we're doing the split screen thing, we have added a second webcam to our live stream. So StreamYard, for anybody out there who wants to know, you can implement 2 local cameras, and it's working really well. So go ahead, babe. What is your? Do you have some bonus picks first, or what do you?
Well, I have honorable mentions.
Okay, yeah, go with your honorable mentions that we didn't have.
The problem is that they're really, really good, but you told me I could only do 20.
Yes, that's the rules.
So, of course, Amityville.
Yes.
The original and the new one. And probably because, everyone has a soft spot in their heart for Ryan Reynolds, right?
I do love me some Ryan Reynolds. I can't help it.
But he was incredible in that movie.
Yes.
He was really, he did a really good George Lutz. And of course, the effects on it were a lot better than what the original was. Original was really good. You go back and you watch it now, it's kind of like, it's kind of cheesy, but it's still an original, and it made my honorable mention. It didn't make my list. The other one was 28 Days Later. So that is an incredible movie. Again, it is dated, and I find it didn't age as well as some of them. But of course, and then they had to make that ridiculous sequel, the 28 Weeks Later, which actually it's a good jump scare, but
much longer, and they're going to be able to do it 28 years later. And I'm not kidding. Like we're coming on to it. So I think this year's 20 years since it came out. That one's quite high on my list. I won't say where yet, but you guys will get to see it or hear it. Any other honorable mentions?
Yes. Honorable mention. 1408.
Oh, that is a good one.
It is. I just watched it again the other night because I was looking for something to watch, and Netflix has their whole horror section on there, and I'm like, man, I don't mind John Cusack. He's pretty good.
And Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes, but when you go back and you watch it, you're like, oh man, these effects are so bad.
And it's not even, 15 years old maybe?
Yeah, but like when he's in the room there and the ghost is walking across, and you're like, that is so cheesy, and that effect is so bad. But it gets an honorable mention, and I don't. And that was that. It's all right.
Yeah. I like it. It definitely wouldn't be my top 20.
No.
And I can promise you that there will be. My guess is quite a few more Stephen King movies come on this list, or at least my list as we go along. And Chris Dixon already mentioned one. He said Christine is hard to make a list without having Christine on there. So, yeah. So what is your number 20, Mrs.
Number
Cook?
20 is The Blair Witch Project.
Yes. That would have been one of my honorable mentions for sure. Why do you like it so much?
Well, I think it's because it was original. And of course, I can't, what year did it come out?
Blair Witch, when I was in college, I think. So I'm going to go with I don't know, let's see here. Blair Witch was 99.
99. So 2 years after I graduated high school. 23
years old now.
So, but when it first came out, it was like the whole hype of everyone thinking that it was real, and how they sold it to the audience as it being a real story. And it just left that whole, that fear in you that it was. And you go back and you watch it, you're like, it still gives you that little bit of, where it makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. You're like, okay, this is really weird, right? But I thought it was a good movie.
You know what? The thing about it, I love it. It's original. It builds atmosphere like there's no tomorrow. And beyond that, I love anytime they can do a film with very little money. And they had almost no, to the point where, if I remember correctly, they rented or borrowed the cameras and then ended up breaking some of them.
Well, and the acting was incredible. The acting was really good. Yeah. For it being a low budget. And
do you know though, everybody loved the ending, and that I think that's what keeps it from being on a top 20 list. It was one that got bumped just off, and I love it. But the ending is just, I know, and I'm not going to spoil it because, well, I'm going to spoil it, but it's 23 years old at this point. But them standing in the corner, it was cool, but it was almost a letdown. And I get it; they had to do it.
You had to read the whole
yeah
story behind it, because it was about the man that killed the children. And what he used to do is he used to make the one stand in the corner while he was killing the other one. So when she went down to the basement, he was standing in the corner while they killed the girl, and then they would have killed him. It was like a whole backplay into that.
I get it.
But like, I thought it was pretty good.
Dixon says he guessed he's too old for that one, but it did nothing for him. I get it. I'm a sucker for found footage. I even kind of like the first Cloverfield, even though it is what it is. But yeah, I really did. We can't, definitely can't disagree on that. It's not in my top 20, but it was close. So give me a second here, guys. I'll bring up my list. Don't want Mama to see. So, okay. So one of the rules I used for my list was, since there are tons of slasher films that have 1,742 sequels, or, like the big ones are Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Freddy. So I decided I would pick one from each list because I like them all. And of the three, Friday the 13th is my favorite. I know yours is Freddy, and that's okay. So I picked one of each. Hey, Hunter, how are you? So my number 20 is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Now, if you guys haven't seen that or have seen it, I love all the Freddy films, but this was the one that kind of started, give him the idea to make Scream. It was the first time I saw a movie. Actually, this was probably the first Freddy movie I saw, which is weird.
Which one was?
New Nightmares, where Heather Langenkamp comes back. Wes Craven plays himself. It's where Freddy gets out into the real world, and they play actors and everything in it.
That was an awful movie.
You didn't? Yeah, see,
no,
but I have a soft spot for it, though, right?
Because, with the Miko Hughes as her son, right?
Yeah.
No, that was
see,
awful.
I knew she wouldn't agree with me, right?
No.
And yes, and Dixon says Wes Craven is a genius. There's so many films he's done that I love. The original Scream is great. Oh man, was it I Spit on Your Grave that he did, or was
nothing against Wes Craven at all, but this movie was awful.
It's okay. I wanted to pick one that was original because you go back to all the other ones and they're all the same and they're all good. But I like this one because Freddy actually came out in the real world. It was kind of that meta horror that led into making all of the Scream films, where he, it was like, this is happening in the real world, but it's also kind of a movie. And
but the acting was horrible.
Hunter says we're both backwards. We're both looking off screen. I wonder if we'll see if we can anyway. But yeah, it was. The acting wasn't great. So let's try this, see how that works. And we'll try this one as well. Camera settings. We'll see if we can mirror. Don't think we can, but that's okay. We'll see if it's any better. Anyway, there. Oh, actually, it did bring us in a little closer, didn't it?
Yeah.
But yes, Wes Craven is a genius. This won't be the only Wes Craven film on my list. It will. It's still doing it. But anyway, that's okay. Yeah, so it won't be the only Wes Craven on my list, but it'll be the one I talk about the least. Let's put it that way. So how about you? What do you got for number 19, Mrs. Cook?
Number 19, The Others.
I love The Others.
I did too.
And that is a film, if anybody's noticed, it's really starting to get a little bit of respect. Because when it first came out, it was just, had a good ending. But go ahead, talk about it, baby.
Well, it's a slow movie.
Yes,
it is. Like, I don't mind some of Nicole Kidman's older stuff. She's not my favorite at all. But when you're watching it, you're kind of like always waiting for like some sort of a jump scare or something to happen, and then nothing happens. And then at the end, when it finally tells you exactly like the whole backstory, it's like, okay, yeah, this movie is incredible. And just how they tell it and how it filmed, and the filming is beautiful in England, and like the old house and stuff. Like it's just it is a beautiful movie. And the acting was really good, and it wasn't gory or bloody or anything like that, which made it even, but it still gave you the heebie-jeebies a little bit, right?
Absolutely. So, yeah, it was. And it the atmosphere of that film was so good, because that was the one with, it's kind of cloudy and misty all the time.
Yeah, like it was a beautiful, and it takes place just after World War I believe, or World War II, one of the wars.
I think so.
Yeah, because like the husband ends up dying in the war.
Yes, that's right.
And then, you know, but like just the whole story, it's a great story.
And yeah, I Nicole Kidman in the 90s, she did a lot of good films. I know you weren't a big fan, but
no, in the 90s I was. Her stuff now, no.
Oh, she's just gone. Yeah. But yeah, the others, it is one that I've heard a lot of talk about the last couple of years. And it's a movie that was kind of forgotten. And there seems to be a real appreciation for early 2000s horror.
Yeah.
Because it had, yeah, I did too, Hunter. I absolutely did. She was definitely one of my celebrity crushes back in the day. So she hasn't aged very well, though.
Well, no, Botox will do that to you.
It will. Yeah. When she blinks now, her whole face.
Well, she can't show any emotion now on her face. She's had too much work done.
Yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, she was good back in the day, and I enjoyed that film. Like I said, there is this big resurgence of early 2000s horror that seemed cheesy, and even though the effects in it weren't great, there's a big appreciation for it right now. And I think that's partly to do with, you know, the kids that are growing up all of a sudden, you know, Y2K, the 2000s are nostalgic now. So, and it's a good film. I got a couple on this list for sure. So let's go down one, see if we can do this without mine. This would be one of my only, there's a couple on here. This will be a PG-13 movie, and I have no sweet clue. Well, I know how they was PG at the time, because I believe this is one of the movies that ended up creating the PG-13 rating, but it's Poltergeist. And it's Steven Spielberg played a big part in that film.
Are you doing original or new?
The original. Okay. I love the original. And I don't know if you guys haven't seen the original Poltergeist, do yourself a favor and watch it. The dad who plays in it, I love him. He was from Coach, I think, on TV.
Yeah.
But Hunter said, "Oh, one I've seen." Yes, Poltergeist is so good. And here's a cool little piece of trivia for you. If you didn't know this, is it the mother that falls down in that pit with water?
Yeah.
In the floating. So the floating skeletons, guys, it was cheaper for them to go to a cadaver. I don't know. Where do you go to buy cadavers? I'm not sure. We'll call Jeffrey Dahmer and ask him. But you went to a cadaver supply place. So those skeletons were real ass skeletons that still had some rotting flesh on them. So, and they didn't know it, and they got progressively stinkier as the filming went on. But that's the one with the TV in the chair. It's cool. If you ever watch some of the behind the scenes stuff where they show how everything was done in camera, practical effects. So when they cut away, or like they pan away and pan back, and you see all those chairs stacked up, 100% real. I mean, it wasn't Ghost that did it, of course, but the production people did it really quick behind the scenes. So it was, I love that. It's a scary film. Everything about it. It should be R-rated. It feels like an R-rated film, doesn't it? Yeah,
well, it wasn't too scary, I found.
Just dark, you know, and I don't know. There's something about the 80s that really does me in. I'm a sucker for 80s film, especially anything full of practical effects. Now, Dixon's right. He says it doesn't age well, though. The things in Poltergeist won't be understood by kids today. Absolutely. No. Yeah. Like the staticky TV thing. Yeah.
And their here line and everything. And that's another trivia too, because the little girl she passed away when she was 12.
Right.
And I think her last movie was the last Poltergeist. And she had some sort of bowel obstruction, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they called it the curse of the Poltergeist or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, number 18, baby doll. What do you got for me?
Okay, I have Child's Play, the original.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Child's Play's tough. You go ahead. I know you love Child's Play.
I do. The original one is basically the only one I recognize. The second one I could probably let it pass, but the newer remakes, like the only thing that's creepier about the remakes is like they keep making the Chucky creepier and creepier looking.
Yeah,
but I find the original was, like, you don't want to say it was more believable, but it was more believable as a doll.
Yes. As
of the newer ones now, it just kind of looks like some sort of creepy robot, right? It just
because he was
and just an awful and the acting in the new ones are ridiculous too. And they were in the older one, but the original one, when she goes out there and he's sitting on the couch, and then she's like yelling at him or anything, and she goes, "That's it, I'm gonna throw you in the fire." And then he like comes alive and he bites her. It's like,
hey, we got Lady Lou on. And yeah, I will recap for you here in just a sec, Lady. You haven't missed too many.
But I watched that when I was a kid, and when he came alive and bit her, that scared. I don't think I slept for like 3 nights. It scared me because my whole bedroom was porcelain dolls. So like after I watched that, I'm like, all right, these dolls are going away, because it scared me.
And it's good. It is good. I mean, yeah, it is. Again, practical effects. It's fun.
Yeah.
I kind of actually enjoyed the new Chucky. Aubrey Plaza, you can take her or leave her. I know she is what she is, but I love the modern take on it, where it was kind of was it a smart android, or he was a smart android that went
something
bad?
Like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
it was very, very gory. I really enjoyed that. I love, for me, the gorier the better, right? And the more blood, gallons of blood makes me happy. But
well, of course, and then with the dolls coming alive, and like a little history story, it was really fun, because it came out like when he was moving around. My brother used to have all kinds of figures in his room, so when he would go to bed, I'd sneak in his room and I would rearrange all his figures to make it look like they moved. And oh yeah, I don't think he slept in his room for like 2 weeks. It was great. So,
Hunter said he dated a girl in high school that had dolls that moved. Yep, I'm gonna note. Yep, no. And yes, I think she's funny, but she's a messed up human. Yeah, Aubrey Plaza. Yeah, she is. I enjoy her humor. So, and she wasn't that bad.
I don't like Aubrey.
I know,
think that's probably why.
Yeah, that's okay. Letty says, my wall of porcelain dolls made sleeping difficult after watching Dolly Dearest. Do you know Dolly Dearest?
No, never watched.
Oh, I don't know that.
Mine was even more difficult after watching Puppet Master.
Oh, yes. So what two did we miss? Letty, we'll recap for Letty. What were your first top 20?
Top 20?
Or your first couple?
Was Blair Witch Project and The Others.
And The Others, yes. So my first, number 20 was Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Number 19 was Poltergeist. And number 18 is Saw. I love the original Saw film. Love it.
Yeah, I can't handle the Saw. I don't find them horror movie. I find them more gross.
So here's the thing. The first movie it's almost like The Matrix. The first movie happened. It was a classic. I loved it. It's one of my favorites of all time. And then the rest just don't really exist. Because what happened was Saw, is it horror? Oh, I think, yeah. The original Saw is definitely horror. I think so. Where you got 2 guys chained in a bathroom with a hacksaw, and the only way to get out is to hacksaw off their arm. And I love it. The first one is I Saw, Hunter said. Yeah, it's good. I remember, I think I was still in college when it came out. My buddy Danny and we would call and we would chat for hours on a landline. Imagine that, guys, talking on a landline phone. For all you youngins out there, that's where the phone would ring and you would actually pick it up without necessarily knowing who was calling. Crazy times. So we talked, and he told me he'd seen this movie and it was worth watching. He said, I seen Saw, or I saw Saw. And so I made sure I found time to watch it, and I loved it. It's a mind fuck of a movie. There's no getting around it. It's classic. It was done very cheaply. And I want to say, I believe James Wan was a writer and maybe a director, maybe even an actor in it. And he's gone on to make all of the modern classics, like, what are the ones that have all the sequels that we like? With the couple.
The Conjuring.
And what's the other ones?
Annabelle.
Yeah, Annabelle, all those. He's had a hand in all those. And what's the other ones that are a little darker and scarier? Also, there's 2 or 3 of them. But yeah, so they're good. I enjoyed the original Saw. I could care less. I just pretend like the rest don't even exist.
Well, except for that one where she falls in the pit with all the needles.
Oh, Jesus.
That is so gross.
Yeah, it really is.
No, that makes my skin crawl.
Do you like scary movies? Letty Lou says, answering the house phone, always a gamble after watching Scream. Yes. And I thought, I got to say, Wes Craven, again, I think he was a genius. And to go and have Drew Barrymore as the opening girl in Saw, and to answer the phone and then to get her gut stabbed out of her. Can you imagine going in? Just imagine the conversation with the network or the studio heads and be like, I want to have Drew Barrymore in the movie. She's going to get killed in the first 5 minutes. And whatever they had to pay her, I'm sure it was worth it. But can you imagine convincing? Only somebody like Wes Craven could convince them to do that. But it was I loved it. Yeah. But anyway, so Saw is number 18. How about you, baby? What do you get for 17 on your list?
17, I have The Visit. M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do have a Shyamalan film on mine.
Yeah. It was. I'm not a big kid horror movie.
You will find that out about both of us. We don't like kid actors.
No, I'm not very big into movies with kid actors, but these two were actually pretty good.
Yep, they were.
I think the part that creeped me out the most when they were playing hide and seek under the deck.
Oh, geez.
And then she starts doing that creepy crawl through the. It was like, what is wrong? And then like,
and the movie has a great. We're not going to ruin the endings. It has a killer ending too.
Yeah, it does. No, it was a really, really good movie. I liked it.
It's a psychological horror that deals with actual psychological problems without delving into it too deep.
Yeah, but it was like a kind of like a comeback for Shyamalan too, right? Because his movies have been.
It was a return to form. I mean,
and then he released a couple crappy ones.
Yeah, I love Split, and then
Split was okay.
Split was good.
Split was really good, but then the other one with
Glass was just horrible.
Was horrible.
Which I prefer Unbreakable over The Sixth Sense. So I love Unbreakable. It's a dark, slow burn of a film that is, in my mind, way better.
No, see, I didn't like Unbreakable.
I get it,
but I like Sixth Sense.
But the problem is that I had the ending of Sixth Sense ruined for me. So that's why, if I had seen it fresh going in, I didn't see it till like a year later. So by that time, every commercial on the planet was saying, "Oh, yeah, I see dead people" and all that, right? So yeah. I enjoyed it. I like. I'm probably a bigger fan of Shyamalan than a lot of people. I even really liked his movie with Mark Wahlberg and the Poisonous Flowers. That one wasn't too bad.
Oh, that one's okay.
I mean, it's horrible. It's so bad it's good. And Hunter said I called that halfway through. I believe you. It was kind of telegraphed when you look back on it, but like I said, I had it ruined for me because I was in college, didn't have time to go watch it. Everybody's like, "Hey, you got to see this," and then it was it. Yes, James McAvoy absolutely made Split.
Yeah, he was incredible.
He's such a good actor. Yeah, I enjoy him quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, now my turn, right? Number 17, the original Halloween. Now,
original as in 1978 Halloween. Okay.
I'm also, you guys will find out as we go along, a huge Rob Zombie fan. I love his early stuff, and I really, really almost think I like his Halloween better than the original John Carpenter. I know, unpopular opinion. Absolutely, I get it. I loved his grungy, dirty, completely off the wall Halloween, and his second one was not good. But
I would probably say yes if his wife wasn't in every movie he made.
I know,
because you can't put her in the same type of category as Jamie Lee Curtis.
No, and that's why I picked.
And then of course, and whatever the girl was that he was going at, I don't even know what actress that was.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. I think Rob Zombie's really full of himself.
Oh, sure, he is. Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't really care for a lot of his movies at all. But
one of his movies is quite a bit higher on my list because it just had an impact on me for what it's worth. But so this, for the record, I am going the original Halloween because it's a classic. I really appreciate John Carpenter, especially the fact that he doesn't just direct his movies, but he also scores them. So he does all his music as well. I enjoyed it. It's a fun story. Hey, Rachel Brown, how are you? Good to have you. Yeah, I love the classic. You can't go wrong with it. It's been remade 10 or 12 times
even in
now.
Rob Zombie's one, what was the whole, her walking around in a white dress with the white horse?
Oh, I know.
I think that was so over the top. No, you can't. Jamie Lee Curtis in the original Halloween was incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it was. And she was. And it's a perfect movie. And the thing is, other than Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it was really the first slasher movie that came out, and everything copied it afterwards. Freddy, Jason, you might as well say, is an absolute copy of Michael Myers. Really. They're great. And yeah, I love it. The original is the original. It stands on its own. It's a great film. Even if you're not considering it a horror film, it's a great film. So, like I said, I picked one Freddy, one Jason, one Michael Myers film for this list. So that's my Halloween. And what is your pick number 16, baby?
16, I had Poltergeist.
Oh, there we go.
Where you did the original, I'm going to say the new one.
I liked it.
It was okay. It was actually pretty, like, I found it was a lot more creepier with the clown and everything.
Yeah.
But I've watched it a couple times and I thought it was pretty good. Like, it was a good for a remake. And it was just like, of course, the original one was creepier because it was more low tech.
Yep.
Like with the television and everything. And but when you get to the newer version, they have like the newer high tech stuff, so it's more relatable. And no, I enjoyed it. I didn't mind it at all.
I'm just going to throw this up here if I didn't mention it before. Knob Creek, aged 9 years. That's what I'm drinking this evening. Picked it up in the city the other day, and Chris Dixon says Knob Creek is awesome, and it is very, very smooth if you're looking for it. So, yes, always looking for a new bourbon. So yours was the new
Poltergeist. Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I like a good remake. Horror definitely lends itself to remakes. You can basically tell the same goddamn story over and over again, and it's pretty good. Whereas a drama, other films, I'm thinking like the Total Recall remake. Remember how bad that was? and again, why not take a shitty movie and make it better as opposed to remaking a classic?
Like, was it better? No, but it was good. It was watchable.
Yes. And Chris Dixon says that it tastes good right out of the Toolman Tim's mug. I feel like I'm in what is the movie with Jim Carrey, Truman Show, you know, with the yes. And Rachel's right. The Poltergeist remake wasn't bad at all. It's not the classic, but it's good. They remade it for a new generation, kept it scary.
Yeah.
It scared the shit out of our kids. Remember?
When they watched it a couple years ago when they were like 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they loved it.
So, number 16 on my end, American Psycho. That movie. Oh man, Christian Bale. I don't know. I would say he's definitely one of my man crushes at one time.
I had a big crush on him.
I love Christian Bale. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I watched him all the way back from Empire of the Sun.
Oh yeah,
and when I seen him,
little guy, little kid. Well,
he was about, he was like 14.
Okay.
And ever since Empire of the Sun, I had a huge crush on Christian Bale.
Yes, and plus he can just act. I mean, he was great as Batman. But American Psycho, if you haven't seen that movie, that is another mindfuck of a movie. You don't know. You just don't know what's real, what isn't real. And the entire thing, to be filmed with the backdrop of the excess of the 80s with the cocaine and the, you know, the 3-piece suits and the business cards and the trying to climb the ladder and trying to make reservations at the best hotel or restaurants. And then for this guy to just be literally a psycho. That's what's so great about it. And Letty says Christian Bale is an amazing actor. American Psycho, holy shit. I agree. I mean, the chainsaw scene, the fact that he's so goddamn vain that he looks at himself in the mirror when he's having sex. Like, I mean, that dude is just off his rocker, fucked up.
But the whole point of the movie, though, is that you don't know, like, in the end, like, you see him drawing all the pictures on the books.
Yeah.
But at the end of the movie, you don't even know if any of it was real.
That's the best part.
Like, you don't know if he actually killed any of these people. You don't know if, like, it was just all in his head, because like you just don't know, because like, and then all of a sudden, like, Jared Leto was the one he ends up killing there.
Yeah. I can't
remember his name, but at the end, like, they don't even acknowledge that he's dead. They just said he's off on vacation, right? So like, you don't even know if it's real. It's crazy. Yeah, it's a crazy movie.
Just gonna throw. Chris says, "Horror lives forever. You just kill different people." Yeah, well, I don't know. The latest Halloween movie is called Halloween Ends, but you know goddamn well they're not going to end it. Too much money to be made. Yes, Hunter. If you haven't seen American Psycho, just make sure you don't watch the second one with Mila Kunis in it.
Oh, geez, no, don't.
That was a movie that they bought a script. It was not an American Psycho sequel. They just turned it into one by adding a quick little 2-minute intro. It's a horrible movie. Stay away from it. But
they did put an intro of her being related to him or something, right?
Like, her babysitter was killed by him, and she
I don't know.
It was awful. But anyway,
don't waste your time.
Don't waste your time on it. But American Psycho is an out-and-out classic. It is a perfect movie, even as far as films go, not just horror. Number 15, Darlene.
Hey, It Follows.
Oh, I knew you'd have that on the list. You love that movie.
It is creepy as shit.
A horror movie about a STD come to life. That's the whole idea.
Well, basically what it is, it's like it's an entity that has traveled through sexual contact.
Yes.
So, but I think what creeped me out is like these random ghosts showing up when the person is cursed with it. Like, remember that old guy standing on the roof and he was like, he's buck naked and he's standing and they're driving away and he's just standing there with this creepy stare and he's watching. I'm like that just sends shivers right down your spine. And then like, oh, you gotta have all these creepy ghosts that are showing up and they're shooting at things and nobody else can see them except for this one person.
And we watched that. That was on Netflix. Didn't we catch it? Didn't it?
It still is on Netflix.
Because it was huge. Yeah. Chris Dixon says it follows you home from Vegas. Yeah. It is. Wow. Yeah. It's just.
No, it's a creepy movie. And it's, like it.
The ending's a bit.
The ending's, whatever. But it's still a creepy movie.
It's similar to The Ring, right? Where
kind of,
because The Ring, where you could pass it, you had to get somebody else to watch a tape, right? Yeah. And that was the same was with It Follows. So if you haven't seen it, it's a great, because I think it was fairly low budget.
It was, but it was filmed really well. Yeah. And like I thought it was Rachel Evan Wood when we first started watching it, and then I realized it wasn't. Yeah. But no, it's a great movie.
Yeah. Mike says Candyman. I think he got cut off there, guys. Bad connection, I'm thinking. But here's the thing. We went and watched the new Candyman. I liked it. Yeah. It was scary. It was gory. It was reverent to the original. And the original scared the shit out of me. I watched it. I mean, as far as a 12 or 13-year-old can be scared of a film. But it was good. But yeah, if you haven't seen the sequel, it's worth watching too. It's a little preachy. It's a little woke, but not as bad as a lot of films. And it really does a good job. But yeah, Candyman, not on my list. Not sure if it's on yours or not, but
no, it's not.
Was that year 15, baby?
That was 15. Yeah.
Okay. Friday the 13th 3. Now, it's really hard to pick a Friday the 13th film because they're all the same. And number 8 would probably be my favorite if they spent more than 3 minutes in New York City, because there is something about films made in New York City in the 1980s that I love. But Friday the 13th 3, and the only reason I picked this one, and I really can't tell any of them apart at any point, was the fact that that's the first time you see him in his hockey mask. Before that, in the second one, he's wearing a bag over his head. And in the first one, well, it's not even him. I mean, but this is a 40-year-old movie. So if I'm spoiling, remember, spoiler alert, guys, anything that's more than 10 years old is fair game. Let's put it that way. And yes, and Rachel, you're right. The new Candyman was okay, but the original was better. So Friday the 13th 3, because at that point they had the formula down. Remember that winter where we just kind of watched all of them work their way through? And they're fun and they're all the same, but everyone, I mean, the part of it that is great is, the effects, just seeing how they came up with new ways of killing the teenagers, and
only the ones having sex.
Yes, only the ones having sex. There was, but I mean, the guy in the wheelchair had sex, didn't he? Because he gets pushed down the stairs. Didn't he have was it a hatch or a machete in his forehead?
In his head, yeah.
And another good kill in Friday the 13th is Kevin Bacon. He was in the very first movie, and he gets his head held down and an arrow pushed up from behind through his neck. I think it's Manfred. I forget his name, but anyway, he just, awesome. Just the effects that he did, and to do that on a budget that was so slim, and it's so formulaic now, but it's like going back and watching, for instance, Bruce Willis in Die Hard, right? Now everybody knows it, it's cliche, but at the time it was groundbreaking. And that's the way Friday the 13th was until they made 700 of them. But three was my favorite because it's the first one where you get the full formula and Jason in the mask. Number 14, Darylyn.
Number 14 is High Tension.
Oh yeah, that's on my list too.
Yeah.
Now, if there's a movie on this list tonight that you guys have never heard of, I can almost guarantee it's going to be High Tension.
Yeah.
Now, how did we find that film? Didn't we buy it? Or did we?
Well, we watched it when we lived in Marshalltown.
Yes. Which was when we were probably not even married yet, just living together.
And that movie scared the crap out of me because it's a French movie.
Yes.
So it's dubbed over, but it takes place in the French countryside.
Yes, it does.
And of course it's a farmhouse and everything. And you remember when the truck drives up and the headlights are shining in and then it's laying on the horn, that my stomach dropped because we're living out in the middle of nowhere and we didn't have street lights or anything. So it kind of like And then when she's chasing them around with the big cement cutter.
Oh,
that is insane.
Yeah, he says, when you say high tension, I think guy lines, like the high tension power lines. Oh, yeah. There's a play on all of that. And this is the first time I've ever seen somebody use a gas-powered asphalt cement cutter as a weapon in a movie.
But it was like, but the woman carrying it is like 5'2", maybe like 100 pounds.
Yes.
And she's running around with this great big huge cement cutter. And you're like, how is this woman even carrying this? This is incredible.
It is a great film. I did some research on this film earlier, and yesterday it actually has a different name. So some people have seen it under.
No, that's it. Go back.
Yeah, it is. There. I'm just trying to find.
That's the picture there. With
yes.
Her.
Yeah. I don't know if I can. Maybe I don't know if I. Well, we're gonna try it here. Let's see if we can share the screen here, guys. Screen number 1, share, and we will bring this up. And this is. Here you go.
That's usually on the DVD cover.
Yeah, that's usually on the cover. If you haven't seen it yet, he goes, I was going to ask if that was the one with the concrete cutter. I've seen that one. It is awesome.
Yeah.
It has a fucking incredible ending, which I will not ruin for you. It makes no fucking sense at all, but it does not matter. It was filmed in French. It's one of the few foreign films that I enjoyed watching as being dubbed, because it was. But it,
I think it was one of the first movies after we watched. I went up and I made sure the back door was locked.
It is creepy. It tells a great story. You know, if I remember, they're high school or college friends, right? That she goes home with her for the summer, and she's hanging out, and then this guy shows up and proceeds to decimate the family.
Yeah, it's insane.
Fuck. Oh my God. It still gives me chills. And it's on my list. It's quite a bit higher, and that's totally fine. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. Look out for High Tension. It's great. Yes, thank you, Chris. How'd you find that? It was released as Switchblade without subtitles. Okay, yeah. So Switchblade, we seen it. I prefer. I'm a bit of a movie snob, and I prefer my foreign films with subtitles. The problem is you can't sit here and play on your phone with a subtitled movie, so we don't watch many subtitled films anymore. But dubbed usually suck. This was the one dubbed film we watched.
It wasn't actually that bad.
It didn't take you out of the film for sure.
No, you're too busy being distracted by the blood splatter.
There's a kill in the film that involves a head through uprights on a railing and a large dresser / armoire being pushed. It was the movie was
insane.
It's so good. Do yourself a favor. I'm sure if the wrong person listened to this, they'd be like, holy shit, there's some crazy people. But we loved it. So my number 14, this is the first of, I believe, at least 3 Stephen King films on my list. And I know that's a big surprise, but Hunter says his number 1 is dubbed, but I've only seen a handful. Yes, me too. I would love to take more time. All right, we will not. I'm gonna guess Old Boy, Hunter, and I might be wrong, but he said we're gonna see if it comes up in his list. But anyway, all right. So my number 14 is Misery. I love that film. I love the book, and the film is, Kathy Bates.
Oh, I love Kathy Bates.
And the guy that plays the main character,
James Caan.
James Caan. They are perfect together. They chew up the scenery together. If you guys have heard me talk about movies for any length of time, you know I love confined films where 2 people sit around in the room and talk, and you feel the tension and the emotion. And I don't know if I'm weird or what my problem is, but I love movies like that. And Kathy Bates with her swearing like Ned Flanders does, and
the cock-a-doodie car.
What to get in the cock-a-doodie car? And there's so much tension. Those 2 carry that whole film. And the crazy thing is, when she hobbles him in the movie, it's bad. It's even worse in the book. Oh my God. Anyway, but we won't get into that. But it is just so good. If you haven't seen it, watch it for sure.
Well, and give a shout out to Castle Rock too.
Oh yes, Castle Rock's really good.
The girl that was playing Kathy Bates' character. She does really well.
She's from Community, I believe.
She's really good.
If you haven't seen Castle Rock, it was a 2-part. Well, anyway, it was kind of a series. So they did like 13 episodes, 2 seasons. Each one took place in the Stephen King world, and she played Yeah, she played Annie.
Yeah.
Annie Wilkes or
Wilkes.
Annie? Yeah.
Yes, Wilkes.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, she did a really good job.
do yourself a favor,
Yeah.
look up that film or that TV show. It's great. But if you haven't seen Misery, number one, what the hell's wrong with you? But that movie, oh, just everything right down to the cigarette. And that was kind of cool when I had William Fortune on there. He was talking about, he goes, do you mind if I smoke during the live stream? And I said, no. He said, I only smoke when I'm writing. And I thought, man, if that doesn't remind me of that. Hey, Nina, how are you? We got, let's see what we got here. Chris Dixon says, I had a friend that wanted to show me this great French movie, but I'd already seen it as High Tension. That's awesome. I didn't know any. Yeah. And Mike says, I can't watch any horror movies in the fall. Deer season can't be out in the dark. I believe that. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and yes, lady. We watch Misery.
Oh yeah. I watch it whenever I see it.
Well, it used to be, we have all these films that when we would be home on a Sunday, flipping through the TV back when you used to flip through the TV,
yeah,
certain movies come on and we had to watch them. And Misery's one of them. And it's a movie
in 2012.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yes, 2012. You love 2012.
I do. It's not on my list though.
No,
so.
Well, yeah, it's not really a horror.
Well,
right? So,
it's end of the world.
that's
so.
true. Yeah, yeah. All right, number lucky 13.
Beloved.
Oh, only ever seen it once.
Now that if anybody wants to see it, it is on the Disney Channel under Star in the horror section. It has Danny Glover,
right,
and Oprah Winfrey.
Yes, believe it or not, a horror movie with Oprah Winfrey.
And it's got, I believe the daughter is Tandy Newton.
Really?
I believe it is.
Like her, yes.
And it's kind of a dramatic horror.
Yeah,
I would think, but it still involves like spirits or hauntings and ghosts and entities and all that. But it actually is. It's a movie I watched. I can't remember what year it came out, but I watched it years ago. And it's so good. And then when it came out on Disney, I watched it again, and I'm like, okay, now I know why I really liked it, because it is a good movie. It's 1998.
I actually thought it was older than that.
Yeah,
and it's so good. I mean, it takes place during slavery, right?
Yeah, it takes place like they escape slavery, and they go up to where it's free.
Right.
And then, but like there's a whole backstory to it, and it tells the whole backstory, and it's really good.
Oh, same director that did Silence of the Lambs. That was, I know his name, but it's okay right now. Chris said, I watched her daytime show. Can't be much scarier than that. Yeah, none of us really enjoyed the Oprah Winfrey show.
I don't mind Oprah Winfrey. Like, she was incredible in The Color Purple.
Yes. And
she's actually really good in this one. I'm not a huge fan of her otherwise, but no, she's really good in this one.
And I've probably only seen it once because you made me. So it's definitely not one I can really comment on a whole hell of a lot, but I know you really enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie, and it's creepy.
I trust your opinion. So yeah, for the most part. No, you made one good choice, right? You married me. So here we are, guys. Number 13 is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That is a movie that has grown on me over the years. When I first watched it, I didn't dig it. Not really sure why, but the more I've watched it, the more I love it. Tobe Hooper was a genius. He did, I think.
Yeah, you're referring to the 70 one.
Oh yeah, the original. Okay. Forget it. Like, I mean, Jessica Biel was.
Well, the remake wasn't horrible.
The new one was horrible, except for when Leatherface went on the bus with a whole bunch of social media influencers and literally wreaked havoc to the point where you see somebody's intestines coming out of their stomach.
And they're on live. They're on like
Facebook
they're
Live fucking live streaming.
Yeah.
They're live streaming their disembowelment. I mean, if that is not a teardown of modern society, I don't know what is. But he's like, dude, you're live. We're going to cancel you. And he's like, fuck you. And he cuts her stomach open. So it's worth watching just for that scene. But the movie is horrible. So don't waste your time, except for that one scene. So I was going to say fast forward. What the fuck's fast forward? That's been a long time. But anyway, so the original, when you read about how they made that film, in the heat of, I'm pretty sure it was actually in Texas, but the heat they went through, the amount of money they did not have, and to make a scary as shit movie that has been copied upon copied upon copied. And actually a movie, I don't know if you could call it a copy, but at least an homage to it is actually higher on my list. You probably know what that is, but we'll get to it. But so Texas Chainsaw Massacre is awesome. The ending where she just loses her ever-loving mind, and she's on the back of that
truck,
and she's like, you don't know if she's laughing or screaming or crying. Yeah. And then you got Leatherface just fucking spinning around with a chainsaw, and you're just like, this movie makes no sense, but it's glorious in its horror, and it really is the first official slasher film. And it's they've tried many times to redo it. The one with Matthew McConaughey, remember that one?
Yep.
Came out, and that was pretty good because Matthew McConaughey, I'd listen to that man read a phone book. He's great. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, number 13 on my list, and probably an apt number because I love that number. So number 12, baby doll.
I put the Jason series.
Oh, you went that way. Complete opposite of me.
Yes,
fair enough.
So, okay. Well, the first Jason was an original, of course, and we all know it was Mrs. Voorhees who was the killer, and then going, like, you watch all the other ones and you're just like, okay, it's repetitive, and then they start bringing in when he goes to space.
Oh, Jason X.
Jason X,
goes
yes.
to space.
And then really? Of course, yeah, like it's a guilty pleasure, I guess, if you want to watch it. And then, of course, the Freddy versus Jason,
which was mentioned earlier. I think it might have been Rachel who mentioned Freddy versus Jason earlier,
which was cheesy as all out, but it was fun to watch.
But we all wanted it. We waited for it for years. Yeah,
right. But I think the original Jason is the best.
Oh,
the original one where Mrs. Voorhees is the killer, and it's one of the movies that makes the most sense.
Oh, God damn it, Becky, you spoiled a 40-year-old movie.
But it makes the most sense because
it does. It's the only one that makes sense.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, Jason died when he was like 8. So how does he come back to be this 6'5" mammoth hockey mask killing machine, right? Like, how does he come back as that when he drowns when he's 8 years old? So it would make more sense that his mother would do the killing because it's like revenge killing because she's mad because the camp counselors and everything. So I find that movie makes a lot more sense to me.
Until the water scene. Which one comes out of the water at the very end? Remember? Jumps out of the water. That was in the first one, right?
Yeah, that was her dream.
Oh, okay.
Remember, she's in the boat and it's a dream of him coming up. And it's supposed to be Jason that comes up. 8-year-old Jason comes up and grabs her.
Now that is a story. Hey, Porterhouse. I told you about Porterhouse a couple times. He's my buddy who grabbed me a bottle of water when I've been talking for 3 hours and couldn't get away. I wish we had more time to talk, but this is a cool story, guys. He said he saw Texas Chainsaw in the theaters when he was like 9 years old. Freaked me out for years afterwards.
Yep.
It is. Yes. It's a good one. Good to have you, Porterhouse. Always love having you in here, man.
Yeah. So, but I think the other ones were just kind of guilty pleasures. Like Jason Takes Manhattan was ridiculous.
Oh, but I love it for the 3 minutes that they actually filmed in New York instead of the 68 minutes that they
when they kill the guy on the roof there when he's a boxer.
Oh,
and like
literally
punches his head off. Like, come on. Like, really? But no, like, and I have seen them all, but I think the first one was the best one.
It is, and like you said, it's the only really good film in the bunch.
Yeah.
And it's original. And if that was the only one ever made, I think we'd still be talking about it.
Yeah.
But the fact that they've
killed that franchise. Yes.
Literally killed the franchise. You are correct there, darling.
Yeah.
All right. Number 12. That was your number 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number 12 on my list. This could be yet another one that a lot of people haven't heard of. And I kind of hope it is. It could possibly be. You might have a Canadian film. Do you have a Canadian film on your list?
I don't think
so. To do with the most wonderful time of the year? Do you have that on your list?
No, I don't.
Okay. So then I'm going to guess this is the only Canadian film on this list. So has anyone out there heard of the film Pontypool? And you'll all say, well, Tim, you mentioned it a while ago in one of your movies. I'm pretty sure I did it in one of our live streams about zombies. If you haven't seen it, it's friggin' incredible. It is kind of a washed up, canceled radio DJ, an older guy with a great voice. I can't remember the name of the actor. He still wants to make a sequel. The whole movie, you don't see a zombie. You might hear a zombie, but the whole thing is told through him and his studio director being locked in the radio station. And excuse me, the whole world's going to hell out there. There's a zombie apocalypse, and all you hear it is through reports. So they don't have to spend any money on effects at all. Everything's in your mind's eye. To me, it's very similar to in 28 Days Later, when he tells the story about how his parents got enveloped in the wave of zombies at the train station. I remember that scene, but it doesn't happen. He just talks about it. And Pontypool is like almost like an audiobook if it was acted out. It's great. You remember it?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Did you like it? You enjoyed it?
No, is Kathy Bates in that one too?
No,
isn't she?
No, you're thinking of the Stand miniseries from '94.
Oh, okay.
She's a radio. Yeah,
the radio. Okay, yeah. Never mind. Yes, yeah. No, no. I didn't mind it, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. I've only watched it once.
It stuck with me so much that it stayed on my list. And for the record, guys, I've been requested that when we do shows like this, that I need to not be a lazy ass and put these lists in the notes. So when we're done tonight, our top 10 will be, our bottom 10 of our top 20 will be in the show notes, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening in audio format. So it will be there. But definitely look out Pontypool. It can be a little hard to find, especially back in DVD days it was. Yep. Now I'm sure it's out there being streamed somewhere.
Shudder might have it.
I bet Shudder does. That would be something Shudder has. Yeah. Shudder's hit or miss, eh?
Yeah, Prime might have it too.
Yeah.
They seem to carry a lot of the older ones.
Yeah. Chris Dixon says no one you know is in that movie. You know what, guys? Let's bring up a picture of it here so you guys can see it. The actor has a great voice. He would be a great audiobook reader for sure. But it to me was, it's so good. It came out in 2008. Stephen McHattie is his name. Have you seen it, Chris? I'm guessing you probably have, since you were talking about that there. See if we can bring this picture up for you. That's not really the poster we'd seen.
No, that's not the original one. It's like a red poster.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll bring this up and we will scroll through some pictures.
There
it is. There. Yeah. So they make it look like, oh, thank you, Letty Lou. Oh, you guys are great. Isn't it nice to have a good community? Letty Lou says it's available on YouTube, Sling, and Amazon. And it is totally worth it. I don't think there's any actual gore in it. There's a couple of times where things get close, but it is so good. I think
near the end there's a little bit.
Yeah. But I can't read all of that, but it says fiercely intelligent and original, smart, funny, and intense. 4 bloody stars. Yeah, it's great. Give yourself there he is there. He plays like he was in a big city, lost his job because he said something inappropriate on the radio, and ended up having to go to a small town in Saskatchewan, where I think it was Saskatchewan, or was it Ontario? Anyway, somewhere in Ontario, in Canada. And basically he sits and talks, and his station manager tries to keep him from saying something stupid all the time. So it's great. Do yourself a favor, watch it. And definitely. Dixon says he's seen the poster, but never watched it. Might need to. It's worth it. If you got 90 minutes, definitely do yourself a favor and watch it. All right, baby, what do you got are you on? Is this 11?
This is number 11.
Oh man, we made it. It's way too quick tonight.
Exorcist.
Oh, yes. Okay. So that one's not on my list.
No, The Exorcist is one of the first horror movies that I ever seen. And then you go back, and of course, then they have the re-release with all the deleted scenes with her coming down the stairs backwards and throwing up green sludge everywhere, but the whole her sitting on the bed and her head spinning around, and that.
Oh,
I think that gave me a lot of nightmares when I was younger. But it's an intelligent movie.
Oh yeah, it sure is, and it plays on your religious fears. And it was a classic. It was the first movie that they ever advertised as people leaving the theater throwing up and being sick. And, now they use that at like. What is it? Every year at Cannes Film Festival, they always say,
whatever.
So, okay. I like it. I don't love it. I think part of the problem is I don't think I seen it until late 90s, early 2000s. So it looks super dated, and it was cliche to me because I had seen it in every Mad TV, Saturday Night Live.
Well, and I think you watched it really good because I would always reference it.
Yes.
I'm always doing the mother. Deemy.
It's true, and I'm
always referencing it.
So I had seen it vicariously through all of your conversation over the years, and it was like, and So Nina says, I didn't watch that until I was about 19 and freaked me out. Will not watch it again. And Jaggy says, good morning. Hey, good morning, brother. Letter arrived today. Still to read it. Pass my love and hug on to my family. I will. I'll let the girls know. Charlotte, for the record, played in a volleyball tournament today. Their team made it into the first round of the playoffs and ended up losing. But she did really well. I was really proud of her, and she has made lots of progress. So,
yes.
Dixon says this is like Poltergeist. Most would be lost. Oh, yes, absolutely. And that I think that's part of the problem with this film is that it's so dated, and so much of the conversation centers around life in the 70s that it would be really hard for, I want to say a millennial, but a Gen Zer to watch it and be really scared. I don't know. What do you think our girls would think of that?
I don't think. Well, I think in the beginning, like when they're, I think the whole setup of the movie, like when he's in the desert there and they're finding the artifacts and everything like that, that's like the whole setup of it. But I think the whole her being possessed and everything, that I think that's what scares people the most. And
it's pretty crass too.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is fair. I mean, it played into the story, and yeah, it's good. I like it. It's great. Letty says vampire films are my jam. So I'm going to get into my 11 here in a minute. But if you guys want to throw up, you don't necessarily have to throw up your favorite film, but if you want to, throw up your favorite horror of all time, and we'll discuss those a little because we've only been 60 minutes. I don't want to ruin our second half till next week, but Letty says the power of Christ compels you. Yes, it does. The problem with that is that it's been ruined by the all-female Ghostbusters. That's become a meme at this point, right? And Letty Lou says so many great spoofs of Poltergeist. Absolutely. Jaggy said the movie that scared the poop out of me was Salem's Lot. That vampire for a 10-year-old. Oh, that vampire. He's so scary. And when you look out the window, I have not. Wow. Letty says, have you done a top 10 vampires episode?
No, we haven't.
We will, because there's a lot of goddamn good vampire films out there. Absolutely. Salem's Lot is great. The book's even better, but I love me a good Stephen King film. But yeah, there's something incredibly creepy about Salem, I guess they are vampires, but the vampires in Salem's Lot, hey?
Well, what was the one that we just watched recently with the vampires? Where they take over the whole town.
Oh my God, what was that? Was that not was that not a play on Salem's Lot? Wasn't that season 2 of Castle Rock?
It might have been.
Yeah, it was. So again, guys,
with the minister and everything.
Oh no! Oh my God! No, hang on, guys. That's the Haunting of Hill House. He does.
Yeah, but what was? Yeah, that
just talk about that a little bit without giving it away, and I'll find it.
I can't remember. Well, no, like it's about the vampires, and they take over that entire town, and the minister.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Tries to protect them, and I can't remember the name.
No, I'm just going to bring it up based on. So I got to tell you guys about Mike Flanagan. If you guys aren't watching anything he puts out, literally all he has to do is put his name on something, and I will watch it.
Well, The Haunting of Hill House was incredible.
Oh yes, absolutely.
It was really good.
So Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass. So we're going to bring that up. This is, if you haven't seen Haunting of Hill House, you're wrong, because it is definitely needs to be seen. It's a 10-part series on Netflix, which is one of the best pieces of horror made in years.
And then, it's like legitimate horror.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's scary.
And then he made Haunting of Bly Manor, which was okay. Wasn't great. But then he came out with this right here, guys. And especially for anyone who has seen, give me a second here. For anyone who has seen or who grew up in, say, a Christian home or anything like that, oh man, this Midnight Mass is incredible. It's so good. Let's see if we can find you a good picture here of it. That's not it. Well, anyway, that's what it looks like. It's Midnight Mass on Netflix, and it is so damn scary. Be not afraid is the tagline.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen it, do yourself. It is so good. I don't want to ruin it, but I love long form storytelling. So any of this new stuff on Netflix that's coming out with 10-part, 8-part series.
And Flanagan, that's his wife, right?
Yes, Carly or Carla, forget what her.
Because she was in that other movie too, where she's deaf.
Gerald's Game. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? Since we're talking about it, let's bring up some more of his stuff, because he Hush was the one
Hush,
that they
that
did.
oh, that
Yep.
is an incredible.
So
I have seen that one about 10 times. That is an incredible movie.
Mike Flanagan is a modern horror master. So I know I haven't got to my number 11 yet. I'm just trying to
I think
make
it's that Kate
IMDb.
Siegel.
Oh yes, that's who it is. Yeah,
That's his wife, I think.
But he has done so many good films. I believe he did Dr. Sleep as well.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, there it is. So let's just, So I want to show you guys what he has made over the last couple of years.
Well, Gerald's Game wasn't his wife. That was
another one of his favorite actresses that he works with a lot.
Yeah,
but let's see if we can bring this up here. So director credits. Let's see, show. So he has done, for instance, Midnight Mass, which was incredible. Haunting of Hill House, which was incredible. Gerald's Game, which was another Netflix movie, which is another Stephen King film. If you haven't seen that, another great movie that takes place with one actor in a confined space, and it is a mind mess of a movie. Dr. Sleep is great.
Didn't like Dr. Sleep.
I know it's a bit dry, but it's cool because it's a spiritual and physical sequel to Shining, and they do something that's almost impossible. They pay homage to both the movie and the book, because if you didn't know this, Stephen King hates the movie. I don't know what's wrong with him. Well, there's a lot of things wrong with Stephen King, but so anyway, he did recently. He did The Midnight Club on Netflix, which is Chris Pike. Remember, he was the 90s teen horror book writer, like R.L. Stein. Yep. Similar to that. He did Midnight Mass, The Haunting of Bly Manor, Haunting of Hill House, Gerald's Game, a sequel to a shitty movie that this one was called Ouija Origin of Evil, which was great. Remember? Hush was good, and then Oculus was okay.
Oculus was
you
good,
like that a lot, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. Those are all great stuff that he put out. Favorite horror from Letty is The Haunting, 1963, based on The Haunting of Hill House. Have you ever seen that one? Because we're going to add it to our list. And The Haunting remake was good also. I remember the remake, but
now was the remake the one with Liam Neeson?
It might have been. Well, we can look it up after.
Yeah. Or
Nina says, one of the movies that scared me bad was The Hills Have Eyes. I haven't seen the original, but saw the one made early 2000s. Went camping not long after. Had to tell myself the hills don't indeed have eyes.
Right.
You know what? That's a really... Hey, Kentucky Sustainable. How are you? That is a really good remake. I love... The thing I love about The Hills Have Eyes is that it plays on all of the nuclear testing tropes. It's so much fun. I love it. And the original's good, but I like the sequel better. Remember the remake, how good that was?
Well, in the remake, when they put the father and they burn him up on the cross.
Oh my God, yes.
But it kind of the other one runs the same type, Bone Tomahawk.
Oh, Bone Tomahawk's great.
With Kurt Russell. That was kind of like the same type of line as The Hills Have Eyes, where they're crazy cannibals. And
if you haven't seen that yet, it's yes, Hunter says his favorite is The Grudge. That won't be on our list, I don't think.
No, it's not on my list.
But you're right, it is. And he's talking about the original.
The original,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the original's great.
Yeah, what's the original? Ju-on? Ju-on or something?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Bone Tomahawk. So again, another classic modern director, Bone Tomahawk. Oh, I'm glad somebody else has seen it. Letty Lou has. It was insane.
Yes.
It's a Western that's also a horror. It's incredible. The writer-director is S. Craig Zahler. He has made, let me bring up a couple of interesting ones. Brawl in Cell Block 99 and Dragged Across Concrete. They're these highly stylistic, super violent, really odd movies, and just odd. But Bone Tomahawk is great if you have a chance.
But that's kind of like the same as The Hills Have Eyes. That's the same creepy,
absolutely
cannibal. Yeah, and
it's good. Kentucky says doing good. Been working on the farm all day. Heading to pick up 4 pigs tomorrow. I miss pigs. Yeah,
they
stink. But I do miss chickens even more.
I miss chickens.
But Letty Lou, you are right. Bone Tomahawk was insane.
Yeah.
Add that to your list if you haven't seen it, guys. It's definitely worth watching.
Well, and another one that's insane too would be that Midsummer.
Yeah,
that's not on my list.
No, me either.
But that was an insane movie.
Yeah, it was. There is
when they jump off the ledge.
Oh my God, yeah,
that's insane. Like
there's a better film made by that filmmaker, which will be on my list, and it'll
Okay.
probably be on your list too, I'm guessing. But
I don't know. Probably
maybe not. Number 11, yet another Stephen King film, The Shining.
That's on my list.
Or The Shinning. Yes.
The Shinning.
The Shinning. If you're a Simpsons fan, anybody out there with
now the original or the remake?
Oh, well, yeah. It's hard. Yeah, the original.
Remember the remake on the television?
Yes. So, guys, if you don't know this series, this story, so The Shining, Stanley Kubrick, absolute classic director, one of the best. One of the few guys that maybe didn't make a bad film. Hard to say. Anyway, the best at his craft. Makes a Stephen King film. Everybody considers it scary. The critics didn't love it at the time. Stephen King hated it because he said it wasn't faithful enough to the original. Whatever. Hated it. I mean, this is coming from the man who decided to make that movie with Emilio Estevez, Maximum Overdrive. The only film he ever directed. So he said, hey, I hate The Shining, so I'm going to make a made-for-TV miniseries. And he did. And it was horrible. Awful. The man should stay away from directing.
Yeah.
He's an incredible writer when it comes to horror. But just shut up. You can't. How can you say that film is bad?
Well,
it's objectively good.
He can't act either. And when he was in all his
older
older movies and
when he plays the priest in Pet Sematary.
Yeah, like just anything he plays in, it's like, oh, just stick to writing.
Oh, he's awful.
Like,
but The Shining, it's classic. It barely drops out of my top 10. Because I have so many good films that I can't wait to talk about.
Well, and you can't go wrong with Jack Nicholson. Like, he's incredible.
When he does the Here's Johnny thing, there's behind the scenes footage of him warming up for that. And he was just a method actor beyond. Yeah. And of course, Shelley Duvall. Yeah. She's crazy.
She's a little eccentric, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah.
So Dixon says, didn't Kubrick direct Eyes Wide Shut?
That was an awful movie.
I hated the film.
Yeah,
okay, so you're not wrong in that, but it was loved by the critics, which makes that a hard sell. He also did the one How I Stopped Worrying and Loved the Bomb. Anyway, I love that's a great old atomic war era black and white film. It's great. Dr. Strangelove, that's what it's called. He did Space Odyssey 2000. So. You may or may not love him. Clockwork Orange, he did as well. So, but he's a classic director. So for somebody like Stephen King, who doesn't have much of a repertoire when it comes to directing, I just don't get why he hates it. I don't know, because The Shining is a classic that we just love. And there you go.
It's a great movie.
It is. It's just perfect, right? It
really, and a little tidbit of it though. The boy that played Danny.
Yes.
He didn't even know he was in a horror movie.
Right, because
Stanley Kubrick would not allow him to know that.
Which I think is really cool.
Which is because he was so little and he didn't want him exposed to any of it. So anything that was horror related was put in afterwards. So he never even knew until he got older.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. And that's kind of cool because I think it probably would have scared that poor little kid.
Oh, yeah. And so there you go. That's our bottom 10 of our top 20, which we loved. But so we got a few here we can talk about. You talked about Midsummer a little bit anyway.
Well, just for a little bit. No, Midsummer it's a wild ride.
It's no Hereditary.
Oh, Hereditary is wild.
Yeah. But, much better in my mind. But we'll talk about that.
I watched Midsummer again. Okay. And I find when you watch it again, you miss a lot of the pieces of the puzzle from the first time you watch it.
You're not a big fan of her though, are you?
Of Florence Poe.
Yeah.
I don't mind her.
Okay.
As long as she's in the right role.
Mm-hmm.
Like Little Women, she was awful in. But Midsummer, but you watch it again and you go back and you watch and you're like, okay, yeah, this movie really is messed up.
She was in Little Women?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but the
and it wasn't her fault. The Black Widow movie was hot garbage. Hot garbage.
It was.
Yeah. I think she will be like you said, when she gets the right role, she's really good in it.
Yeah, no, but Midsummer, it messed with your brain.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's original. It's fun. It's odd. I like those Scandinavian horror films. There's something about a Scandinavian movie. Anyway.
And Scandinavian in the middle of nowhere movie.
Yes.
Because like they take them kind of like Hostel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like they're in the middle of no, they don't know where they are, they don't know how to get out, they don't, and half the time they don't even know how they got there. And then all of a sudden, like they're drugged up, they're whatever, and then all of a sudden, and everybody's all welcoming, and then they all get really, really weird. And then it just kind of just plays with your brain.
I don't know. It is good. I enjoyed it. So somebody said Midsummer reminded them of
Wicker Man.
The Wicker Man. And yes,
no, Wicker Man with
the original.
The original or the one with
bees.
Nick Cage.
That's where he has the bees on his face, remember?
Yeah, but you know what though? It still was pretty good.
Oh yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's like not as good as the original, of course, but then you get, I don't know, he still ends up being burnt alive in the big Wicker Man.
Yeah, it's good. So, the Nick Cage version, Letty says, yeah, absolutely. It's okay. It is. Yeah, it exists, right? Let's put it that way. How about, I know you like The Conjuring.
Yeah.
The Nun. Meh.
No, I did not like The Nun. Yeah, that was a waste of time.
Yeah, talk about The Conjuring, baby. I know you love that film.
The Conjuring, well, it's on my list.
Oh, okay.
But
further down.
Yeah. I liked the first Conjuring because it was original. And just and it was creepy.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought it was really, really creepy.
It's PG-13, right?
I believe
so.
I
think it is. I could be wrong.
But it's really creepy when they move into the house and everything. And of course that was like the building block for the rest of them. Now the Nun, I can take it or leave it. Yeah. I didn't find that one, but leading up to the Nun, like you got like the Annabelle movies and
the Annabelle were okay.
And like they kind of all sync together, but no, like the actual Annabelle movie was awful. I didn't like that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But
excuse me, guys, sorry.
But the leading up to Annabelle was pretty good.
Oh yeah, and
yeah.
And didn't we see The Conjuring 3 just like a couple summers ago, right? Yeah, and it was still good.
Well, the second, I think the second one's the one that takes place in England, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that one was good too.
And they're great. That's Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. They should be married in real life. They're so good together.
No, but but the second one that takes place in England, that one was actually pretty good too. I didn't mind that one at all.
No, I enjoyed it. I do. Yep. The Conjuring's great. Do you consider Silence of the Lambs to be a horror film? I do, and not just. The problem is, people are like, well, it won Best Film. It can't be a horror movie. Well, yeah, it can be both.
I consider it more of a thriller.
Because it won Best Oscar for
because like it's a there's not a because it's about a serial killer.
Yeah.
So it's more like a crime thriller.
It is. Sure it is.
Yeah, because they're hunting down Buffalo Bill and everything.
Yes.
But I didn't consider it a horror movie.
I get it.
Because my horror movies are.
I wouldn't call anybody stupid who does, though. I enjoy the film.
Well, it's all how you take it, right?
But Anthony Hopkins is probably one of the best horror actors, horror creators of all time. He's so good.
But he does a more of a setup for thriller type because it's not really a jump scare and it's not really scary. It's more of a thriller because it keeps you on the edge of your seat, and he creates the tension and the suspense and everything. But I didn't find it really as a horror in my category. But
I'll go with that.
But everyone, teach their own.
So Jaggy mentions one here I haven't even heard of before. The Believers with Martin Sheen, late 80s film. You ever seen that, baby?
No, I don't like Martin Sheen, though.
I'm not a huge fan.
No.
But you know what? I trust Jaggy's opinion enough that I'll look it out and find it sometime.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that one.
Porterhouse says, the original Phantasm is a little cheesy by today's standards, but as a kid, it was terrifying. Now, have you seen The Phantasm?
No.
Because for whatever reason, I don't think I have. But I get it mixed up with this film all the time. And I do love Reanimator. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's super cheesy, 80s body horror at its best. And I made the mistake one day, 2-3 years ago, when Charlotte was, maybe it was when she was when we were homeschooling, and you were gone, and her and I sat down and watched this. And it is a really good film, but there is some highly inappropriate stuff that we had to skip. More so even than watching the Jackass films. So
yeah, but now they could watch it because actually Alice has actually started watching Game of Thrones, which if anybody has seen Game of Thrones, there is a lot of inappropriate scenes. But she
Yeah.
You know, I told her, I said, well, as long as you realize that there is a lot of inappropriate scenes.
She knows to skip
she's
things.
fine.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we'll go back and see Phantasm. I don't know if I've ever seen it, but I always get it. Yeah. Mixed up. And Wicker Man.
Oh, I see. Sinister.
Oh, yes. We'll get to. Oh, I think that's what Rachel says. What was the movie where the writer found the whole movie's of families being killed? Sinister. It was Sinister. She answered her own question. Yeah.
The first Sinister was incredible.
That was the film that when you see the people hanging in the trees, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Oh, that was really
and
good.
he's watching the old
Super 8 films or
on the thing, and then the face comes up. Yeah. Like that. Yeah, no, Sinister was an original.
Sinister was good.
The second one, they should.
Did you have Insidious? None of those.
No, Insidious is not. But I do like Insidious. That
yes.
is a great.
Yeah, it is.
The first one.
Yeah.
The second one, they start getting a little cheesy.
The Omen. You like The Omen?
I do like The Omen. Yes.
I almost want to guess it's probably on your list.
It's not.
Okay.
No.
It missed my list too. I find it's a 70s film, right?
It is, but again, it's like the same thing as Jason. The first one was so good, and then they just had to keep doing remakes, and then you get to the higher up one, and who's the main actor in it?
In which?
The later Omen.
Oh man,
Sam something.
Sam. Oh, okay.
He's British, I believe.
Okay.
But then they kind of like make him into some sort of political where he's going to be like presidents that they could take over the world, and
they remade it. That was the first one I saw, was the remake with you.
Yeah.
And then I went back and watched the old ones, and they were okay. Not Michael Woods, is it?
No, Sam something.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Oh yeah, Pet Sematary is so good. Yeah.
But so like they the first Omen was really good. Like when the babysitter's up on Damien.
Oh yeah,
this is all for you,
and she jumps off. Oh, that's great.
Herself.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
And Chris says The Believers is a good flick. Porterhouse says Reanimator is hilarious. It is. Yeah. I really need to go and watch the rest of them. I'm a sucker. If you guys want a good YouTube channel for cheesy horror, cheesy old films, is Red Letter Media. If you guys maybe have watched it, Mike and Jay and what's the third one? Anyway, they're hilarious. I've watched them for years. They play this game where they put a bunch of old 80s films on a spinning wheel and they'll spin it around, and it's all VHS you've never seen. They watch the worst films ever, but if you're looking for a good entertaining YouTube channel about films, it's them for sure. Now Nina says she needs to check one out, and I don't know which one that is, but I'd love to know. Letty Lou says sometimes we joke that we should have named little man Damien. I think we would have joked about that with Mackenzie when he was younger too.
Oh yes.
What about 8mm with Nick Cage? I'm totally kidding. What a piece of trash.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
You've never seen that?
It's a snuff. They deal with snuff films.
Yeah,
right?
They're dealing with trying to find a snuff film. Yeah.
Yes. Julia Stiles, remake of The Omen. Meh. Enough said.
No, I don't like Julia Stiles.
Can't. Oh, that poor girl. Save the Last Dance. You know what?
I didn't even watch.
Don't save the last seat for me in the theaters because I didn't like her at all. I'm sorry. It's a shame.
No.
But, and Pet Sematary. Yes.
Yeah. Not going to say too much about Pet Sematary.
No, we will not.
Because
the remake was okay.
The remake.
I know.
The remake was awful.
Yes. Yeah. And Rachel, you're totally right. It is Dario Argento. I've never got into his stuff, but he was a classic Italian horror filmmaker, kind of I think it's avant-garde, and he made crazy off the wall stuff. Some of the movie buffs I follow on YouTube love his stuff. I really should dig some of it out. I'd never get you to watch it, I'm sure, but Suspiria was just recently remade with Dakota Johnson, and the critics really like that too.
I've never watched Suspiria.
No, neither have I.
No.
I know you don't love Dakota Johnson, but for some reason I enjoy her films. The one that she did with where they're in the hotel late at night and Thor shows up. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was so good.
I know what you're talking about.
We'll break. Yeah, later on we'll figure it out. But Liv Schreiber was in the 2006 remake of The Omen. Yes, it was. Oh, here, Becky will talk about this one. Rosemary's Baby. I
do like Rosemary's Baby. It's not on my list.
I've never seen it.
I think it's one of Amy's favorite too, my sister. But no, it's about devil worship. And,
okay.
Yeah, like no, it plays with your mind too.
We'll have to watch it.
Yeah, but
maybe we'll watch it sometime.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's not one of the movies that I would watch a couple more than once. I think like I've seen it a couple times, but I wouldn't purposely put it back on because it is a slow movie.
Sure,
it is very slow.
It's 70s, right?
Yes,
I gotta say, I look at the 70s as a bit of a lull time in horror. The movies just weren't. I don't know. They don't do it for me. They're very
well. I find they're talky. Like they're very talky, and they spend an hour on one scene that should only be like 3 minutes. You know, like. But and of course, and they're over dramatic, like the yelling and it's just like, okay, you just ruined it for me, right?
Yeah, it didn't do it for sure. Those mind benders. Letty, yes, Becky mentioned the others was in one of your first movies.
Yes, others was number 19, I believe.
Yes, I think it was, and I like the others a lot.
Yeah, number 19 on my list. Yeah.
So, what have we been? Well, what are we watching right now?
Dahmer.
The Dahmer miniseries. Yeah, it's good, but it's a mess. Dog Soldiers. I don't know if I've ever seen. You ever seen Dog Soldiers?
No.
No, I've heard good things, but
no. But I will say with the Dahmer series, Evan Peters is probably one of the most underrated actors. He is incredible.
So good.
Anything I've ever seen him in, I have never been disappointed.
No, he's really good, and he doesn't get the attention he deserves.
No, he actually should get more attention, and they should put him in better movies.
I think it's because
incredible.
He has been with the American Horror Story guy for so long that I can't remember the guy's name that directs him, but you know, Netflix signed a big deal with the guy, but nobody really. Yeah, Letty Lou says Evan is a great actor. He is. Yeah,
like he reminds me a lot of kind of like a younger Christian Bale.
Yeah, sure.
Like he just takes his role and puts 100% into the role, and it's believable. Like he's so good, and like if you ever watch him in American Horror Story, like he's incredible, and he was incredible in X-Men. Like there hasn't been anything that I haven't liked him in.
No, he's all around great. I enjoy him. Says he's got a new upcoming film called Snow Ponies. A tough group of men ward off ruthless bandits and brutal obstacles as they travel across a treacherous landscape to deliver a mysterious package.
John Berthnall's in it too.
Oh, I like him. Yeah. All right. Well, but Evan Peters is great. And as far as he really gets in. Yeah, he really does. And we're 4 episodes into Dahmer. It's definitely worth watching.
It's incredible, yeah.
It's dark. It definitely has a lot of
it's going to get a lot
content.
It's going to get a lot darker too.
And you know, eviscerations and disembowelments and you know, just weird stuff. But it's really good.
Yeah, but it's true though, right?
Yeah, it is.
They're not.
Black Phone. We watched Black Phone this year.
Watch Black Phone.
Fucking love Black Phone.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be my favorite horror film of this year, unless something supersedes it.
Who was that? Ethan Hawke, right?
Ethan Hawke, yes.
Ethan Hawke.
Oh, you're Ethan Hawke, yes. Remember?
Yeah.
But yeah, Dahmer. Yeah, it is worth watching, Letty. Just you know, try to find yourself some time when there's nobody around talking.
Yeah.
That's all we're gonna say. You know.
Yeah, if you have to keep pausing it,
it loses its effect a little bit.
Yeah.
But make yourself, if you can get yourself an hour a day. And then I know that's going to be impossible with a new baby, but try to find yourself an hour each day and watch it because I think it's 10 episodes long, isn't it?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. But Black Phone is based on a book by Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son. It's awesome. It is classic late 70s, early 80s setting, and it's intelligent, well written. It's scary. Ethan Hawke plays an incredible bad guy, an original bad guy. And the kid actor is great. I don't know what they have changed, but like we said, one of our biggest pet peeves have been shitty children actors.
Well, he's not really a kid.
No, he's a teenager.
He's a teenager,
very young teenager.
It's the 6 to 10.
There can be some really bad ones, can't there?
Like I find it's and you try not to, because they're doing what they're told to do.
Oh, sure. It's not their fault. It's not their fault.
But I just find it makes them annoying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See if there's any others we haven't seen. Nope yet. New Texas Chainsaw Massacre was about as good as, I don't know. It was friggin' horrible. Just awful. Any of these others we've seen? Haven't seen the new Munsters yet. Yeah, I can't believe they're making.
No, I haven't seen any.
I'm very excited for Mr. Harrigan's Phone. That's based on a Stephen King short story that I read a few years ago. Really loved it. X is supposed to be incredible. We haven't seen that yet. We're behind this year.
Oh, yeah.
Letty says, I grew up so near where it all happened. Same with Gacy. Those serial killer stories truly enthrall me. I don't know why we enjoy serial killers so much.
Well, no, and the first the Ted Bundy movie was Zac Efron.
Yeah, that was so good.
It was so good. Zac Efron did a really good job on that, and I hope they do like a mini series on too. Ted Bundy, because
Ted Bundy's really interesting.
Yeah.
Nina says we started the Munsters and had to turn it off. Didn't like it at all.
That doesn't surprise me.
I've heard just horrible things. It's hard to believe Rob Zombie did it. It's done. So he was funded through Universal, but get this, it wasn't even Universal. It was Universal's direct to video. So they have, you remember when you used to see all the knockoff VHSs and DVDs that were like, you know, like Kindergarten Cop 3, you know, that kind of stuff. This is who funded it. So he had no budget at all. And for some reason, they're like, hey, the guy who did House of Thousand Corpses, he'd be great to do the Munsters. And then,
no,
let's do it in Technicolor, because they wouldn't let him do it in black and white. And I think it would have looked better in black and white. But Rachel Brown said friends went to see Smile tonight.
Actually, 2 of our kids went to go see Smile tonight.
And we were going to watch it when we were in the city, but we had too much fun shopping.
Well, and we had no energy left. We were too tired.
That is true.
I probably would have fell asleep in the theater.
The Scarecrow. Have you seen The Scarecrow, baby?
Who's in that one?
I don't know. That's I'm not sure, to be honest. I have to look it up. But it's been a good year for horror.
Well, and actually one that I've watched. Now, see, that's another thing. You could probably classify it as a horror, but not like a slasher horror. But The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's kind of a thriller. I don't know if anybody's watched that one. It's on Crave, but it's some of the episodes are pretty scary, and it's more realistic scary than it is slasher scary. So that's one that I've been watching.
Find so was that for Jaggy said the Scarecrow, which looks like it's from the 70s, I'm thinking.
Okay.
See if we can bring that up here. I don't know if we can. Scarecrow. Dean Hackman, 1970 something, but yeah. So Nina says true crime is my favorite. The real people you should be scared of.
Yep.
So I grew up. You know what? Oh man, we should do an episode on unsolved mysteries.
Oh, unsolved mysteries.
Oh my god,
me so bad.
I mean, I was a kid I grew up in the 80s. So you know, I was 9 when the 80s ended. So as a teenager in the 90s, I was a huge X-Files junkie and a huge unsolved mysteries. Scare me shitless. I mean, just when that music comes on and then
his voice,
Robert Stack. Oh, you know,
my dad used to watch it, and it scared me so bad. But as soon as I heard that music come on, I would just book it down the stairs because I had to watch it. And I think it was the whole, like, they never had any
resolution.
Yeah. So I would watch it to hear that music at the end, that update.
Yeah.
And this person has been found, and I'm like, oh yes, now I can actually sleep tonight because they found this guy, right? I always watched it so I could see the updates so that I could actually sleep, because some of them were so scary.
Oh, and Unsolved Mysteries. It was such a good show. And yes, and oh hey, haven't seen Arson in here. What a great name, Arson Hells. What a that has got to be the greatest. Welcome to our top favorite horror movies. A user named Arson Hells. That is just a great name. I love it. Yes, X-Files was just pretend like the 2 rebooted seasons didn't happen. And honestly, once Mulder left the show, so basically the first 6 or 7 seasons were awesome, and the last 2 were just, you know, when they had the Terminator come on, Robert Patrick.
Well, I never watched X-Files.
Oh,
and it's really weird because I had like the biggest crush on David Duchovny.
Oh, and I had the biggest crush on Gillian Anderson. So
and I'm like, I should have watched it, and that's the reason why I wanted to watch it, but I could never get into it.
It was right up my alley. I mean,
I just watched it so I could watch him talk. And I'm thinking, I don't even know what this show's about. I
think that's why I've gotten into some of the old Art Bell stuff, because he fits right in with all this stuff. And I didn't know that Coast to Coast with Art Bell was even a thing when I was a teenager. And if I did, I would have sure as shit listened to it at midnight on AM radio. But I loved all of the aliens, the UFOs. Oh yeah, it was so good.
Well, and you could say from the 80s, 90s too, the original Stand.
Oh, yes.
The original Stand.
The 90s miniseries we're talking about?
Yes, with Molly Ringwald.
Oh, I love that. It's the best, probably the best, one of the best made for TV horrors of all time was the Stand 4-part miniseries, which you guys have heard me talk about many times.
Yeah. And you know what? If you liked it, give the remake a chance.
Yeah. I wish it were better. It was just
Alexander Skarsgård is incredible.
Yep.
Like, it's too bad that what's her face is in it. I can't even remember her name anymore. Amber Heard, because she's a nobody.
Oh, she's awful.
Yeah, it's too bad she was in it, but Alexander Skarsgård makes the movie. Like, so if you get a chance, give the remake a chance. It's not horrible.
Yeah.
Not as good as the original, and the original is about as cheesy as they can get. But that was a good one.
Arson says, same here, didn't find Coast to Coast until way later. So maybe I'm going to have to go back and do an episode on... My intro, my 1-paragraph intro is actually modeled after Art Bell's intro. I just really appreciate the way he did it. So yeah, Arson, if you have any recommendations for episodes that are worth listening to, he also did Ghost to Ghost every year for Halloween, where he would have people call in and tell their scariest ghost stories. So that was kind of cool too. I enjoy it. I love like the dark Reddit posts you get online, because they're probably all bullshit, but there's something scary about unknowns, right? Chris Dixon says Unsolved Mysteries was remade into The Curse of Oak Island.
Oh, that's I've never even...
That is the biggest T show of all time. Never watched it, but they have literally made 10 seasons of, what did we find? Tune in next week. What did we find? Oh my God, a fragment of wood. Yes, did we actually? No, we didn't. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, no. And we grew up near Oak Island. So it's just the biggest freaking cock tease out there. I don't know how else to put it. Just awful.
Yeah.
But yeah. And what do we got there? One of the Unsolved Mysteries was local to Rachel. Gary Redner, I think, was his name. And Letty, a family-owned grocery store called Redner's. And what do we got? And Letty Lou says, come on, Chris, they'll find treasure one of these days. Anybody still tuning in to, I don't get it. It's okay. You're totally fine if you want to waste your time, but I do not know how people can watch that.
I don't even know how it came about. Like, is it some sort of...
it is, yeah. I mean, growing up, they always talk, because remember Matt and Tracy had their wedding?
Like some sort of pirate.
Yeah.
Wasn't
so
it?
Apparently some pirate built the most elaborate hiding spot for his treasure. So elaborate that all the powers that be at Discovery could not, or History Channel, could not, their collective knowledge and resources could not be enough to find this hidden treasure for 10 full seasons on TV. He was that good. He knew that they were going to make a reality TV show based on him later on, and he figured...
It never once crossed their mind that there isn't.
Oh, no. I mean, there's a TV show about it, so it has to exist.
It has to be true. I mean, I read it on Facebook. It's true.
It is true. Absolutely. But yeah, so... I don't know. The new Unsolved Mysteries was pretty good, the first series, but then the second one got rushed, and we're like, oh man.
Well, I don't like it when they do them all on aliens.
No, I know. Yeah.
Like
the old Twilight Zone, for those of you who are out there, I'm a huge Twilight Zone fan. I know. Rod Serling, again, another dude that I could listen to read the phone book. Yeah, you knew he was going to die of cancer. The guy literally smoked in his intros, and his voice sounded like he'd been smoking his whole life, probably since he was 4 years old, working in a coal mine or something. But that dude could spin a yarn about scary shit. And it's just as pertinent today as it was in the 50s and 60s. And The Outer Limits. Do you remember The Outer Limits?
I never watched that.
Stand by. There's a couple of good episodes in there. It was hit or miss. They remade it in the 80s. Chris, I
was just gonna say
that. Just push Becky's buttons, everyone.
I will.
Tales from the... Oh, okay. Hold on.
I love Tales from the Crypt.
No. She loved Billy Zane.
No.
In Tales from the Crypt.
No. He was in Tales from the Crypt Demon Night. That was the movie. That movie did not come out until years later. I watched Tales from... I would stay up on a school night till midnight just so I could watch that half hour when that crypt keeper came on with his laugh and his creepy little show. Like, I'd stay up and I'd be exhausted in school the next day, but I had to watch that show. And then they came out with Tales from the Crypt Demon Night. And of course, my guy at the time was Billy Zane. And
that's okay.
Oh my goodness. I ran out and I owned that movie on VHS. I had to have that movie. And I remember I put it in my VCR, and my VCR ate it. And
Poor
I
honey.
sat on the floor with Scotch tape, and I fixed it so that I could watch that movie. And then, of course, then they came out with Bordello of Blood, which was absolutely ridiculous.
Of course, I like that as a 14-year-old boy.
Of course you would as a 14. It had Erica
I don't know.
Enlack in it, I think. She was from Baywatch, the one with
Didn't-
short blonde hair.
I wasn't
She
looking at her
was
face,
the stripper that came out of the cake on Under Siege, I believe.
so works for me. I
Yeah,
don't know. When I
so-
was, that's all I can say is I rented it more than once. Let's put it
Yeah,
that way,
so no, but Tales from the Crypt was incredible. I love that show.
And I don't know why you talking about this just reminded me of this, but does anybody remember the Nightmare board game? The VCR?
I had that.
Yes.
I had that game.
So we used to play that at Halloween parties when I was a kid. And Nina, yes, you may have mentioned this. I'm going to talk about this movie in a minute because it is definitely on my list, as you knew it would be for next week. But so if anybody hasn't seen this, I forget how it worked, but you put a VHS tape in your VCR, and what was his name? The gatekeeper or the crypt keeper would come up and he would tell you things. It was like a choose your own adventure for VCR. Here it was, Experience Atmosphere. And yeah, you would play, it was 90s VHS horror board game, and it was fun. Scary as shit, but
You know what?
yeah.
I own that game, and I never played it.
Really?
Not once did I ever play that game.
We should play it on a live stream sometime.
Because what I used to do is I used to take Bristol board from Shopper. I used to go to Shopper Circle and buy Bristol board, and I'd make homemade Ouija boards.
Yes.
So my big thing was the Ouija boards, and then of course I got one for Christmas one year.
Ouija board.
A Ouija board.
Oh, my parents, listen, when I was a kid, I couldn't even go to bingo. So I sure as fuck wasn't going to have a Ouija board.
I love the Ouija boards.
Oh.
But Tales from the Crypt, incredible. They're cheesy as everything now.
Oh, yeah.
The Crypt Keeper is incredible. He's so funny.
They were trying, I can't remember which director it was. I want to say maybe it was the guy that redid the Jordan Peele, maybe. Anyway, somebody was trying to get the rights to redo it.
I think it was Jordan Peele.
Yeah, but Crypt Keeper is absolutely, so the copyright involved in it is tied up in all kinds of crazy stuff. So they couldn't get it, which is a shame. But okay, so we're going to talk about this a little bit. I don't want to talk about People Under the Stairs too much because, like I said, I really enjoy Wes Craven. This is a Wes Craven film. So it's in my top 10. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I fucking love that movie. I don't know if my buddy Clyde will ever see this episode or not. He may. A good friend of mine that I grew up with in Nova Scotia. He lives in New Brunswick now. He introduced me to this film. This film's fucking bonkers. It's so great. And it was right. It's kind of a lost. It's a forgotten film by Wes Craven. Let's put it that way. So anyway, but that's all I'm going to talk about People Under the Stairs this week because I want to finish it next time. So
yeah.
Okay, we got it. Man, what good community interaction tonight, baby. Letty Lou says, from Chicago, we had Sven Gooley doing the intro and commentary to all the campy horror films from 50s through 80s. Blob, Killer Tomato. Oh, sounds like the drive-in with shit. It was there and I lost it. Too many old fashions, I'm guessing, but he would, really good. Letty Lou says, oh my god, my elementary school BFF had that game, scared the shit out of us. It was great, and you never played it.
No, I feel bad for not I regret not playing it. I should have played it.
Well, I got a VCR over here. We should play it sometime with the kids.
Do we even still
we'll have to buy it? Well, no,
I don't know.
So Aaron says, my favorite coast to coast episodes, or ones I would recommend talking about, would be any of the ones with Bob Lazar or Phil Schneider. Phil claims to have worked on some DUMBs, where he encountered. I don't know what that stands for. I'm sure unknown life forms. Okay, yeah. I think I listened to one of those coming back when I was heading from North Carolina to Tennessee after dark. It was a great time. I actually put on a couple episodes, and I want to say that was one of the ones recommended. But yeah, Letty Lou, People Under the Stairs. It hasn't aged very well, but it's still fucking scary. People Under the Stairs. So we'll
No, is that the girl on there? Is that Leah Thompson?
I think it might be
from Back to the Future. Is that her, or
let's see?
Look just like her.
People Under the Stairs.
I'm curious if that was her when she was
It's such a funny movie, and it's almost a little bit deeper. Yeah. I listened to one of those where they had a guy on. It was a great episode. People Under the Stairs. I don't think I got the right one, did I? Oh my God. Why did Diary of a Wimpy Kid come up when I had People Under the Stairs? I don't know. People Under the Stairs, 1991. Yeah, and I want to say it's LL Cool J. It is. No, Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames. Oh boy. Yeah. Somebody's gonna anyway. So People Under the Stairs, if you haven't seen it, it's great. Written and directed by Wes Craven. Like I said, that crazy dude's in there too. That one that you don't like. What do they
call him?
Let's see what his name is.
Roach.
Roach, yes. Yeah, Roach, he's in this. Yeah.
Alice. Oh, no, that was AJ.
Yeah.
Like,
so
okay, no. Wrong
and
Letty
Lou says, you are welcome. She's over on there. Oh, Sven Gooley. She sent it to me over on Telegram. So don't forget, guys, join the Telegram group. Anything else, baby? Any other movies? Anybody have any other films you want us to quickly talk about before we wrap it up for this evening? We've been almost 2 hours, which I knew we would be.
That's okay. I can sit here all night.
Got to open up a pop.
I was going to say,
which one?
Evil Dead.
Oh, yes. I recently listened to Bruce Campbell's semi-fictional autobiography, and it's quite entertaining to hear the stories that those guys so it's Bruce Campbell, and I can't remember the director now, but they grew up as friends, and if you want to hear a cool story, hear about how they got funding for Evil Dead and how they did the work and the crazy shit they went through in this cabin in Atlanta that may or may not have been burnt down when they were done. They basically rented an empty abandoned cabin in Georgia. Definitely a cool story, but I like Bruce Campbell. I think
I do. Hilarious. But even the remake of Evil Dead.
Oh, Ash versus Evil Dead?
No, the remake of Evil Dead. Where she takes
that's great. I love
the
that
X-Acto knife and she like cuts her tongue in half and like that. That is crazy.
Rachel said, "Nice to see you on here." I always love having her on here. We so the remake, and if you want to see something funny or interesting or enjoyable, Ash versus Evil Dead. It's Bruce Campbell playing a washed up older version of Ash. And it's funny, it's kind of a modern thing. I watched a bunch of episodes on the plane a while ago, and it was definitely enjoyable. But yeah, I like Bruce Campbell. There was definitely, what else has he done? He did the Boomstick.
Oh, that's Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness, which
that's my favorite.
Yeah, I knew you'd like that for sure. But yes, we will go back and Becky just brought up a whole bunch of really good 90s horror films here. Let's see.
Vampires.
That is
that one.
John Carpenter. He not a very well-known film of his for sure. Let's bring this up here right quick. Full screen layout. So let's bring this down. We'll scroll through these. These are the top 90 horror films. Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. I mean, how can you not love? Yeah, he's awesome. So good. Bubba Hotep. Remember, hun? Bubba Hotep?
Yep.
Yeah. Stir of Echoes. Man,
Stir of Echoes was really good.
Not
that
bad.
Was one of the first movies I seen where it was ghost related, and it scared me.
Yeah.
Mary
Shelley's Frankenstein. Did you like that?
Not particularly, no.
Oh, there we go. Man, top 4. It was 46th highest grossing horror film of the 90s. Did not know that. People Under the Stairs, great film, and she's fucking nuts.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's a great picture. Close that out there. There we go. Is this
Fallen?
Wow, guys, I forgot about Fallen. Have you ever?
Yep.
Oh, if you have, and look, I really am a dead ringer for him sometimes. It's pretty crazy, especially when I used to actually have hair. So yeah. Everybody called me Dan from Roseanne when I was in elementary school.
And I think that was part of your. When I first met you, because I actually grew up watching Roseanne, and I had a crush on Dan,
which is great. I love it.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Fallen, it's a bad guy movie, and I haven't seen it in 25 years, and I still remember the song where he sings "Time Is on My Side."
Yeah.
Oh man,
no, it's a good movie.
Good. Yeah. What else we got here? Mimic. Yeah. I don't like her. Wow.
I don't like her at all.
Yeah. Mira Sorvino. I don't know how she got. Candyman, 1992 guys. Great. From Dusk Till Dawn. Huge Tarantino fan. I like this. I think he wrote it but didn't direct it. I think Robert Rodriguez directed this. And of course, I had a big crush on Salma Hayek in 1995. So there is that. The Exorcist 3. Whatever. We're gonna skip it. American Werewolf in Pellet. You ever seen it?
I have. I didn't care for it.
Yeah, no. And Nina's right. 2 great actors in Fallen for sure. Event Horizon, another film that was largely forgotten when it first came out, and it is being revisited as a horror classic today. Huge practical effects in it where, really interesting movie. And apparently there was a whole director's cut that was even better that's been lost to time. So I don't know how I know this, but I do. So Rings of Power, Island of Dr. Moreau.
Oh, that was an awesome
If you guys
movie.
want to hear some crazy stories about Marlon Brando and how much of a dickhead he was on set, read about the Island. Fucking horrible movie, but the story behind the movie is way better for sure. And Rachel says the scariest movies usually have some religious background. Well, there's some serious truth.
I actually have one that I was going to put on my list, but I didn't. Was Stigmata with Patricia Arquette.
Yes,
that one is a creepy movie.
Not bad. I don't mind. I kind of like, Patricia Arquette's okay. Child's Play 2, Sleepwalkers, 1992.
That's the cat people.
Yeah. Oh, is that Stephen King?
Yeah,
it is.
Stephen King.
That's a horrible movie.
That's a horrible movie,
yeah,
but
it's cheesy.
It's cheesy.
Lake Placid. That's the one with the giant crocodile.
Yep.
Enough said.
And I believe that one has Betty White in it too.
I think it does. And Letty Lou loves Stigmata.
Yeah.
Cool. Nina likes Stigmata as well. Letty Lou, yes. I remember watching Dr. Moreau. My love for movies came out in junior high. And I had a friend, Lynn Bursey, who her parents were rarely home. And if they were, they let us all come over and hang out like a group. And we rented every VHS under the sun. And one of them was Dr. Moreau. And we didn't enjoy it. This is a friggin' crazy movie. I haven't seen it since it first came out. Remember Lawnmower Man?
Yeah. And you know what that reminds me of too? I was just reading an article on Brain Scan.
Oh.
With Edward Furlong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep, not bad.
Yeah, that one was.
This one's horrible, and if you don't know, it's based on a Stephen King short story as well. Lawnmower Man is. Bride of Truckee.
That was horrible
1998.
Too. But it's funny.
Yeah, it is. The Relic with.
I didn't. The Relic,
I don't know that one. Nina says Lake Placid. Betty White is one feeding the alligator.
Yeah,
I got to go back and see that.
Remember, the alligator came out, and I think it killed her husband.
Right.
And she kept feeding it, and she would take it full cows. And then
what a crazy
and she gets right lippy with the cop and everything. Is so she calls him like an asshole.
Betty White was great. That was I wonder if that was a start of her resurgence, eh?
I love Betty White.
There you go. Freddy's dead, the final nightmare.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, Freddy was not indeed dead.
No. Freddy's never dead.
No. Urban Legend. Oh my God. That was a cheap. No. Yeah. I went to see that in Yarmouth when I was in high school in theaters, took mom and dad's car. It was such a disappointment because it was a knockoff of Scream. And I know what you did last summer.
Well, and it had Tara Reid in it.
Oh, poor Tara Reid.
Yeah, when you've seen her on TikTok lately. I don't know what that woman is doing, but she is on something.
Oh, yeah. Let's bring us up on screen here too, so we can keep going here. Alien. Yeah, I've never been a big Alien fan.
No. The first one wasn't too bad.
Jennifer Love, huge something or other. Yeah, not a
No.
I still know what you did last summer. Okay, not
well,
great.
and it made it worse because they put Brandy in it.
Oh, Brandy, yeah, poor thing. The Faculty, that's okay. Oh, one I liked was Disturbing Behavior.
Yes, that one was.
And even though it had Tom Cruise's ex-wife in it, House on Haunted Hill. That's the one that Letty mentioned, right? From 1999.
Yeah.
27th highest 90s grossing horror film.
No, hers was The Haunting.
Oh, okay. I love Gremlins too. I was going to put Gremlins on the list.
I don't consider Gremlins a horror.
Right. It's hard to consider it a horror film. Anybody out there still listening? Would you consider Gremlins a horror movie? Yes or no? You can put a thumbs up, a yes, no, doesn't matter. But I think you're right. What would you call it? Sci-fi?
I don't know. I wouldn't consider it a horror. But...
No. And the second is classic. It's so bonkers. Alien Resurrection. Enough said. Like I said, I'm not a huge one.
Oh,
there's Stigmata, baby. Yeah. Oh, Chicken Hawk. How are you? You at work or you home, buddy? And Nina says Gremlins is a kid's horror movie. Totally. Dixon says I would totally call Gremlins a horror movie. Maybe I will do a poll on social media and see what people say. Gremlins was a Christmas movie. Yeah, and you're gonna say that fucking goddamn Bruce Willis's Die Hard is a Christmas movie too, aren't you?
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Die Hard is a movie that takes place at Christmas.
Die Hard is my go-to Christmas movie.
Chicken Hawk's working, by the way, so good.
Die Hard and the horror movie where they call the sorority house.
Yeah, Black Christmas.
Black Christmas.
Oh, yeah,
That is also a Christmas movie.
I thought that would have been on your list, actually. That's a Canadian film.
I don't mind it, but it is really bad.
Oh, boy. Sorry.
Yeah,
Stigmata.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Die Hard is a film that takes place at Christmas.
It is a Christmas movie.
All right.
And I will watch it 15 times before
I love it.
Before I watch
The Crow?
National Lampoon.
Yes. 13-year-old me thought it was crazy, the whole story behind Brendan getting shot and dying.
Oh, yeah.
Brendan Lee or whatever. Great movie. It hasn't aged very well.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely. And for them to finish it the way they did, even though they didn't have him.
I think with The Crow, the whole soundtrack was a seller for me.
Good. Arachnophobia. What a weird picture to pick for arachnophobia.
I don't know if arachnophobia I consider a horror.
Oh, yes. Yes, I think so. How about arachnophobia, guys? I think it's Sean Goodman. It's a comedy, but remember we went back and rewatched it.
I know, but
it's fucking scary.
I didn't find it scary.
Arson Hell. Sorry, I just got the play on Orson Welles, but anyway, I wouldn't call it horror, but Gremlins definitely are scary to some kids. Family friendly horror, absolutely.
Yeah.
Arachnophobia. I remember.
Oh yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, I love anything with John Goodman in it. What's the one where he plays the theater owner or the theater guy? Cinema. No, anyway.
Yeah.
Matinee. Matinee's great.
Yeah.
Arachnophobia is great. I remember when it came out on VHS. I rented it as a 9-year-old. Scared the shit out of me.
Well, see, and I find it funny.
Yes.
And that's why I wouldn't classify it as a horror to me.
You're quite a bit older than me, so that's why.
Yeah, right.
What an asshole. Yeah. Letty Lou has a bunch here. Okay, let's keep going here. What happened? There we go. Spawn. Didn't love it. No. Todd McFarlane, take him or leave him. Halloween
that was the one with H2O was the one with Josh Hartnett.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're trying to forget about that one.
Yeah, they completely wrote that out of.
And it had Michelle Williams in it.
Yes.
That was an awful movie.
Did you guys say the Ninth Gate? No, we didn't.
Oh, with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
It has been a long time since I watched that one.
Alien 3. Was that the one? No, I don't think. No, that's right.
That
Oh, Death.
That's
so
a great movie.
I heard today that they're remaking Death Becomes Her with Kate Hudson and Anne Hathaway.
I wish they wouldn't do that.
I know. That was what's the director's name? He did Back to the Future.
Well, see, and that's the thing, though. I don't like Anne Hathaway, and I don't like Kate Hudson.
I know.
So they're going to ruin it.
Yeah, they will. Absolutely. Species. Oh my God.
No.
That was a horrible fucking movie, but there's a reason that it made $60 million in 1995. Same reason I rented it a couple of times. The Devil's Advocate is freaking great.
That's
Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino.
Charlize Theron is in that one.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Flatliners. That movie scared me when I was a kid.
I didn't like Flatliners.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then they redid it, and it was horrible. Kristen Stewart, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't she in it? Wolf. Never seen it with Jack Nicholson. I can't believe I haven't.
Anaconda. I think Michelle Pfeiffer's in Wolf.
Yes. Anaconda is super cheesy, but it was what it was.
I don't like Jennifer Lopez.
End of Days.
Never
seen it. You know,
I didn't like it.
Never seen it. Yeah. It fell through the cracks.
Believe it or not, I actually had a crush on Gabriel Byrne. And because he was in Stigmata too.
Yeah.
But he's like, you look at him now and he's like the dopiest looking dude. I don't even know why. Maybe it was his voice.
Blade. If you guys want to hear some cool stories, read about the behind the scenes shit that happened on Blade Trinity.
When he's in the morgue and he wasn't cooperating with the director and he refused to open his eyes. So they CGI'd his eyes on.
It's fucking awful.
Because he was throwing a temper tantrum about something.
He was a big baby. I know what you did last summer, 1997. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, just not horrible. Was it the second time that was on the list?
I still know what you do.
Right. Deep Blue Sea, 1999.
Now, see, I wouldn't classify that as a horror.
No, me either.
No.
But it is what it is. Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Bram
1992.
Stoker's is great.
82 million.
Except for Keanu Reeves' accent.
Oh, poor Keanu Reeves. This is just not his film.
No.
The Haunting. Oh, is that?
That's one with Liam.
Yeah, that's
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yes.
And Owen Wilson's the one that gets his head taken off in the fireplace.
You know, he's a good actor when he has the right film. Yeah. That one that he took where he has to save his family. And
when they're over in the Asian
Sleepy Hollow. Oh my God, I forgot Christopher Walken was in Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah,
guys.
he plays the Headless Horseman.
Yes. What do we got? Scream 2. Good Canadian girl there, Neve Campbell. Scream, 1996, friggin' classic, $100 million. Interview with the Vampire. Oh,
that was a good movie.
Yep, they were.
I'm not going to argue with that one. But
well, my man crush of Brad Pitt is just as gorgeous today as he was 25 years ago. What do we got left for top 90s films here? Blair Witch Project. Holy shit! Yeah, at one time it was the highest-grossing independent film of all time, $140 million. And anybody want to make a guess on the top horror movie of the 90s? I have no idea.
I would have said Blair Witch.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was The Sixth Sense.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Almost 300. Holy shit! That's domestic too, folks. So it probably made $500 million worldwide.
That was a good movie.
It was a cultural phenomenon. Let's put it that way.
It was good.
All right, let's go back and finish up with our comments here, and we'll just about call her quits in 2 hours. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Die Hard is not a Christmas film.
It is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Let's bring us back up on the big screen here. Chris and Rachel both loved Arachnophobia. Now, Letty Lou says Arachnophobia, The Birds, Creature from the Black Lagoon, all Svengoolie films. The Birds just missed my list.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Hitchcock fan. I probably could have put 5 or 6 of his films on this list, but I didn't.
I don't mind Hitchcock, but I'm not a huge fan.
I get it. I get it. Like my movie prof in university introduced me to this stuff, and I watched all of them. The Birds is friggin' great, and it could have been on the list for sure. Ninth Gate, Hellraiser, cult classic. You liked Hellraiser, right? Or not? I didn't, but
like I honestly don't think I've watched several of them, but never all the way through.
Right.
Because I think a lot of it was like, I think it's because I was younger and it was like over my head and I didn't quite understand.
It's a very smart horror movie. Clive Barker, right? I think.
Yeah, and Pinhead, right?
Yeah.
That's who. Yeah, because I think I've seen about 3 or 4 of them, but I've never watched them all the way through.
Yeah, I had a friend, Carl, in elementary school, and we used to go over to his place, and his mom loved the movies. And I remember just seeing clips, and I was like, it was kind of weird. The guy, he has nails in his head and everything.
But they were slow.
Yeah, they really
slow,
were.
And I just found that, I don't know. It was hard for me to keep my attention on them.
No, I get it. Yeah. It's a different type. It doesn't fit in with the other slasher films.
No, it doesn't.
It's not a slasher film. But the body horror in it, the crazy practical effects where
they're getting hooks and their skin's getting ripped off and all that stuff. But you get watched it and you're like, why is this happening? And because the Pinhead, when he talks, it sounds like he's almost talking in riddles.
Oh yeah.
And you can't. And
the guy who played him, I mean, he was British, right? Wasn't he?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah. And Letty says, not a horror film, but scared the crap out of me as a kid. Legend. Don't know that one.
Oh, is that the one with Tom Cruise and the unicorns?
Oh, I
think it
sounds like a.
I think it is, because I think it scared me too, because they kill the last unicorn, or they cut the horns off them, and the unicorns.
Have you ever seen The Burbs?
I have. Yes,
that's with Tom Hanks, right? Yeah. So I want to say, I had Cam and Colby on here a little while ago. They love that film, and I've never watched it. I think we need to.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, worth watching once, or
because
all the '80s Tom Cruise films, Tom Hanks films are fun. I enjoy them.
They are, and I prefer the newer Tom.
I like Money Pit. Love Money Pit.
Yeah,
and Turner and Hooch was great. I think that's
But
your dad must have loved Turner and Hooch.
Yeah, right? He did. But I find a lot of his '80s movies were a lot of overacting.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So they're kind of hard to watch.
And Chicken Hawk says The Burbs. Oh, where'd it go? The Burbs and People Under the Stairs scared the crap out of me as a kid. So I'm glad that there's a lot of love for People Under the Stairs on here, because we're going to talk about that next week. Tom Cruise Legend, my intro to Tim Curry. I was never a Tim Curry fan. I actually hate to say it, but I prefer the new It over his.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Only the first movie, though. The second one's just so.
No. But it's not the actual movie. It's Pennywise.
Oh, yeah. The
like Bill Skarsgård is incredible. He is so good. Like when you're looking at him and his eyes are going all funky and everything, like he is incredible.
Oh,
Tim Curry was he kind of reminded me of like the creepy clown at a birthday party. Like
Tim Curry is in Rocky Horror, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
didn't he remind you of like in It? Wait, when you go back and watch it now, he reminds me of the creepy clown that shows up half in the bag at a kid's birthday party, and he's trying to give you a balloon that he can't make into an animal. He just reminds me of some creepy, like he's not scary.
Dead Alive is pretty. Oh, hey, Apartment Prepper, how are you? Always good to have her on here. Dead Alive. You ever seen Dead Alive? But Hobo with a Shotgun we've seen.
Dead Alive, is that the alien one? Or like the creepy baby?
Dead Alive, I think that's I can't. Anyway, yeah. Rachel says we're out of our minds. Yeah,
bring up Dead
Alive. Alive. I want to say that might be also the guy who does Rich Zemeckis. I think it might be. No. Let's see if it's the guy who did Lord of the Rings. What's his name? How close am I? Peter Jackson. I think it might be. Let's see.
Oh no, that I'm way up. Actually, no. One of the first movies I seen. Now,
hold on. Look. Oh, directed Peter Jackson. At one time, this film, let's bring it up so you guys can see it. At one time, Dead Alive had the world record for the most fake blood ever used in a movie. Okay. Gallons and gallons and gallons of it. So good.
Bring up It Lives.
It Lives, sure. Just a second here. So while we're at it, Hobo with a Shotgun was shot in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Yes.
The province we're from. And we have seen it. And it is fucking good. It is a low budget as low budget goes. What was the movie, Darlene, you want me to look up?
It Lives.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. All right.
Now it should be like a crazy hand coming out of a cradle.
Oh, yeah. Oh. It has a different name too, though, doesn't it? I don't see it. More title matches. Let's see here. Orson Hellsit. Okay, no, we got that one. Yeah, It Lives. 20. No, I don't know. No. Well, we'll find it. Well, you know what? We'll bring it up for next time.
Yes. No, but it was one of the first horror movies I seen when I was a kid because my grandmother had this great big huge VHS. And I remember when I first went to her house, like she never watched horror movies, but she had this one and it's a baby cradle and it's got like a hand coming out of it and it's got like
yeah, I remember
pointy fingers.
What is that one? I don't know.
What is that one called?
Yeah.
And the mother gives birth. And it's like some sort of monster baby. And as it's coming out, I
watched a YouTube video on it a while ago. And
basically as she gives birth, it goes out and it like attacks the doctor and it attacks the nurse. And I remember because my grandmother lived in this big, huge house and I used to sleep over and I snuck down after she went to bed at 8:00 and I watched it. And I
stayed up late.
I end up sleeping on the couch because I was scared to go up the stairs because I thought something was going to grab me through the railing of the stairs. But I can't remember the name of it. It was a great.
Rachel Brown says you guys are out of your minds. I believe her, absolutely. Yeah. And Apartment Prepper says Dead Alive is great. Letty Luce has never seen it or Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Clowns scare the shit out of me.
Now here's the thing: I was in Spirit Halloween, and there is all kinds of props, and there's even like a big animatronic of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I have never seen that movie.
No, me either.
I honestly didn't even know it was a movie. But they're just basically, there it is right there.
Right there, this one.
That's It Lives Again. Yeah. That's not the one, but it's the original.
Yeah.
It Lives, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's a creepy. Yeah. Killer Clowns is also great. Never seen it. Might be worth watching sometime. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never seen that
Apartment Prepper says the chainsaw scene in Dead Alive is great. And Letty also knows the movie we're talking about, but can't remember.
I think that's it.
Yeah, it is.
It's not, again, it's called It Lives. But
we'll show a picture of it here. Let's bring it up so they can see. You guys have to watch. Where did it go? Almost lost it.
There, that creepy baby.
There. Here's the creepy baby, guys, in case you're wondering.
It looks like the little the creepy babies from Spirit Halloween.
Do you want to know what's creepy? Some of those Baby Alive people that remember when you were making those fake babies?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another, but that was crazy. Oh my God. Anyway. You know what, guys? It has been 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 10 seconds. It's alive. Yeah,
it's alive.
Yeah, it wouldn't come up. Oh, maybe it's because I didn't use the apostrophe.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, yeah, that one there. It scared me.
So if you guys want to see Tim get drunk and Becky come on and talk about more horror movies, tune in next Saturday. We'll do the top 10 of our list. It was great. That was fun, wasn't it, baby?
It was.
We had a great time. I have to do this more often. But hey. It's the Workshop Podcast, and this might have absolutely nothing to do with preparedness, but sometimes we just have to have fun, don't we? Yeah. Letty Lou says, this was fun, you two. I can't wait for next week. I can't either. Porterhouse, great to have you. Love having all of you. It was fun. I enjoy this.
Well, between now and next week, though, everyone think of a bunch of movies that you like, and then we can talk.
Yes, and you know what? Maybe we'll go through the top 50 80s as well. Tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. That's what Chris says. Yes, we will. We'll have you. Yeah, it'll be great. Thanks, Arson Hells. I love it. That's a great name. I don't know why I stumble over it. But anyway, guys, that's it for us this week. Tune in tomorrow. Nina, we'll catch you on PBN. Absolutely. I got... who's coming on tomorrow night from Dane D from the Gunmetal Armory is coming on to talk about lock picking. I'm quite excited. It's for me because I don't know how to pick locks and I want to learn. So we're going to have him on.
So you got a sledgehammer.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. There's video of me breaking a door down with a sledgehammer. That's another night for another evening. Anyway, guys, that's it. So as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.